Welcome everybody. We are finally here. LUTI Season 14 is approaching, so we've got another iteration of the Inkademy Speed Ladder for you all today. My name is Yoshi, and I'm joined in the commentary booth with Sasu. Say hello.
Hello, everybody. This one's gonna be a bit of a doozy. 3 hours of speed ladder. All of these teams are going to be rushing to see how many games they can get in to get those LUTI divs as high as possible. And starting us off is going to be Utility Pale versus you know them, you maybe love them. I'm not gonna speak for you. Distinct.
Oh man. I mean, this team's been around for a while, huh?
hmm
Alright, Tiger,
Yes.
Moose, Jason, and I didn't actually catch that last name. I believe it's Rafa, though. And we've got Zones Urchin for our random map. For those who don't know how the Inkademy Speed Ladder map pool works, it'll be random Splat Zones map 1, and the maps 2 and 3 will be counter pick.
Yes, and right off the top, we do have picks on either side. Tiger trying to see what they can get on that left side up against a Stamper. What a matchup, and I think the Stamper just says, let me get out of there, and promptly gets jumped by one of the members of Distinct. And you see already they've postured themselves to have not just an early lead, but getting 3 of those members down on Utility Pale. They're looking for a lockout here, Yoshi.
What a double from the Trizuka, by the way. That's going to help that lockout. And I think there's another pick right there, too. Huge advantage state right now for Distinct. It looks like they have a lot of map control. It's going to need to be at least one, maybe even 2 specials. I don't think that Tri-Strike will be enough to kind of reset the map and take it to neutral, especially because the Inkjet is going to find another pick. 2 go down on both sides, but if Tiger can get the Slosher, gets 1, maybe going to go for the Splash as well. The Splash is forced to pop Crab, but that's just going to be another special down, as well as another pick down for this retake to happen. Distinct in a really good position, especially with these strikes online. Rafa is going to go down, but there's only 6 seconds with a Booyah to cap the entire zone. I don't think it's going to be able to do it, and Distinct take a clean 0 to death for game 1.
Yes, what a knockout indeed. And we're talking about how they've been around for a long time. This is really why. They've got the skills. This is their first game of the day. That fit is devious, I must say, Jason. Wild pick I'm seeing here. But yeah, we're going to take a look at this instant replay. It seemed as though Utility Pale very difficult to stay up. Distinct just really has great mechs, great control, and it was only the Slosher that was up 9 out of the 10 times I would look up at that UI. So perhaps if they're better able to play around their Slosher, it might look better for them on this counter pick.
Yeah, and I think the counter pick format for Speed Ladder is definitely helpful. I mean, you want to get as many games in as you can, but with the counter pick, you have, time to kind of reset your team's mental, time to figure out, hey, what do we want to do? Especially after a knockout like that, Utility Pale has got to be in their team VC being like, okay, we just got absolutely ran over. We need to change something, and we need to change something fast. And I think this counter pick time where you can talk to your team to choose a map, I think mentally they're going to want to be talking what they need to do differently more instead.
Well, they have completed their counter pick, and it will be Zones Umami. Um, which, I mean, plays very differently. Obviously, from Urchin, you've got those double zones, and I think that if you have those strikes, which we saw online from that Slosher, uh, it it may just be a little bit easier for them to stop the bleeding in terms of getting that zone into neutral. But this can also be a place where lockout can be an issue. So we'll see if that is indeed helpful for the utility pick.
Absolutely. I think if they stick to the slosher combo, though, they've got a good amount of specialists to try and, I guess, prevent the lockout scenario. The Crab Tri-Strikes is really strong getting off of your plat and just trying to get back in the mid. But it's going to be more so how they can time the special if the lockout happens versus, like, what they need to do to get the specials in general. And we do see the bow actually come out from Distinct here. Looks like honestly going to be a very good pick, especially with that Inkjet again. I don't foresee Distinct having too much trouble with paint for the comp as well. As I said that, the Rafa goes down, which is the Viper player, so it's going to be kind of a hard fight for this mid. Early to go down on the side of Distinct. Utility Pail trying to capitalize, get the zone, trying to get Tiger out as well as the third goes down. Tiger here possibly for a delayed wipe. Might be able to find a Shark. Does get one. Two go down on the side of Utility Pail. And the neutral right now, it looks like it's just going to be back and forth as people get their teammates back alive.
Yeah, very interesting here. We saw Distinct go down early, but it seems as though they were able to stabilize despite the fact that it was only their roller that was up. So you see at this current moment, they're just sort of in mid, sort of in that choke, trying to see if what they can get, and also trying not critically to overextend. I think very often, especially coming out of a 0 to 100 push in the prior game, you can think, we've got this, we're get in there and lock them out, but I think they've done a really good job to keep things steady, probably trying to keep the zone, knowing that you can put things into neutral very easily on a place like Umami.
Yeah, the Slosher here is just trying to go ahead and make a hero play. They get one, but they're forced to jump out, and Tiger, what a shark, gonna pick out the splash. The Inkjet's gonna claim another, and Aubrey's boyfriend is low and now dead. The Inkjet is going to find the pick, and with 14 ticks left on the zone, I think that just might be the set, also.
Yeah, there's not enough time to get into mid, even if they tried. So once again, another strong push there for Distinct. Gonna be the 2-0 for them. Of course, this is a best of 3, so they just snag that game. And this is Speed Ladder. Speedily, I'm sure they're gonna be heading to their next game.
I mean, yeah, 13-minute set, you've got to be happy if you're a Distinct fan, because they're already queuing a second match, and if that goes well for them, they're going to dip up very quickly at this rate.
Yes, and I think that's what Speed Ladder is all about. You're just like, let me see if we are effectively stronger than another team. We're just gonna like zoom through that as fast as we can. You're gonna want to see those 100 to 0 pushes if you're in that Speed Ladder, because the most games, the more data there is, the higher your div, quite frankly, provided you win those games, of course. And Utility Pail, that's going to be an 0-2 loss for them, but we've got a lot of time left, Yoshi. For all you know, they can just sweep every single other thing. And you can just kind of say, okay, we lost that, but we've got a lot of games ahead of us. No need to really cry over spilled milk here.
The beauty of the Speed ladder format as well. I mean, with Swiss tournaments like the low-level, low-ink, or even the double elimination tournaments we see in weeklies, you've got to kind of feel like you need to change something and change something really fast when it comes to these formats. With ladder, you have the time. You can get 5 or 6 matches in comfortably within a 3-hour period, and that's more than enough to kind of get yourself warmed up, first off. But second of all, just try to start finding adaptations that kind of prevent these kind of scenarios where Distinct absolutely curb stomped you. It's not going to be very easy to mentally come back from that, but like I said, it's the beauty of the format. You have time.
Yes, exactly. These, not just like time to work things out, but you also have time to take a break if you so need it. Like
Exactly.
if there's some sort of thing that happens in VC, or you guys say, wait, we're overheating, you can literally just say, guys, let's take 10 minutes and not re-queue and talk about like maybe what's happening, or, you know, maybe let's decompress. We have time to have a bathroom break, right? There's no one saying our fourth is in the bathroom. Sorry. Well, no, that will happen. I'm lying. That will happen. Definitely, I have been in ladder. For those of you who were fortunate enough to compete in the NA League that happened a couple of months ago, that also had a ladder format. And I myself played for one of the weeks, and there was definitely, oh, our fourth is in the bathroom. Oh, they're in open, which is wild to me. What do you mean your fourth is in open? This is a ladder. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, getting GG bathroomed in a format where you queue yourself, it's definitely something, to say for sure. But I mean, yeah, like you said, you have the time. Honestly, if I were still competing, I would have, after that set, just take my team like, yo, let's go VOD review. Screw Q for like 30 minutes. Let's hop into that replay and analyze what went wrong, because something was obviously wrong.
Well, I think that it's kind of like a risk analysis you have to make here, because on one hand, you might have this little powwow, this discussion about like how do we do better? Why were we, because this is the first game for those teams. So they can say it was just a warm up, whatever, but then at the same time, you want to get the most games as possible because that gives more data. That could be an extra win that makes them go, whoa, that's an upset. We're putting you in a higher div. You know what I mean? But in the meantime, as you can see above us, Pangea versus Clown Ensemble is going to be our next match. These are the players that are going to be on either team. And one thing I've noticed, there's a lot of like rosters with a lot of people. I wonder what that's about.
I mean, you've got 3 hours of straight gameplay. You've got to take a risk versus a reward analysis of whether or not your main roster gets tired. The beauty of Splatoon, especially in this ladder format, is that matches are so fast-paced usually that you've got to start considering the mental fatigue aspect and whether or not you want to have those subs to just get ready to go. Or if somebody wasn't available at 1 p.m. EST, you've got a sub on deck that can help you get through those first couple matches. Despite even if you lose, you can take a couple games, try to div up on the ladder, and then have your main roster go in and clean up.
Yes, but it is going to be Zone's Lumeria this first random game. Yes, oh dear, for sure. Because this is certainly not what I want to see if I'm queuing into the speed ladder. They don't have much of a choice. It is going to be random for that first game, but in all fairness, Yoshi, if I have to play on Lumeria, I would want it to be Zones.
Yeah, I mean, in general, Lumeria isn't a very good map. I do not enjoy it. Hot take. But, I mean, yeah, Zones is probably the best game mode when it comes to Lumeria. It's very util heavy, where you can like put a lot of bombs on the map, put a lot of specials on the map, and just try to control map presence that way. It doesn't really promote like straight fighting because of how like the elevation, how it's played out, and especially just how awkward the zone placement is.
I'm seeing this team tag Honk. I think that's the Honkai Star Rail team tag, but never mind that. Taking a look at these comps, of course, we are seeing a Dynamo on the side of Clown Ensemble, which is notable. After the buffs, I feel like that's gotten a lot more competitive play off the top, but you see that Dynamo is going to go down along with 2 members of Pangea, so this once again is a double zone map, so it's going to be a little bit tough for these teams to keep both of those zones in their own color.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at the zone placements themselves, it's very, like, distinct. It feels kind of like the Reef to me from Splatoon 2, where, like, it's very, very evident what zone is supposed to be your zone because of how they're placed. And I think for Pangea here, as they're just trying to, like, take fights, try to reclaim the lead, they're just going to want to keep their zone capped and then just go fight. I don't think they want to play for the other zone quite yet. But as I say that, Zyler's going to get 2 off the bat here, get their special. And for now, I think it's actually going to be kind of hard for Pangea to get a suitable retake. I mean, 2 specials do come online. The Dynamo actually does go down, so I might have just been lying. The Tri-Strike is going to come out early. Oh, but a kind of bad place triple splashdown to try and call out the Zipcaster doesn't work. And I don't think it's going to disrupt Clown Ensemble. I mean, the chumps are going to come out. Strikes already did come out, so there's not a lot Pangea can do.
I think one thing about Lumeria is it's just difficult to figure out where to look. You have the leader up there just getting chipped out by that brush. And there's just, you see the pit where the zone is, that top mid, and then of course there's that left section you see that the leader has rotated to, gotten a pick off of the Dynamo, and now they're moving forward. They have to dive this zone. 2 members are down from Clown Ensemble. And yet they're still able to recap it, I think, just by the strength of this bow. So that splashdown comes out, and despite the fact that they had 2 members down, Clown Ensemble is going to take it over Pangea. I think this perhaps just wasn't the map for Pangea, I'd argue.
Was that a 0 to death? Did they even get zone cap?
I don't remember the numbers that I saw, but from the gameplay that I saw, I don't
Probably
think
was.
zone. I think they were able to neutralize the zone a few times, but I think that was a 100-0 run.
Oh, I mean, that's gotta be rough if you're Pangea, but like you said, it's Lemuria zones. I mean, it's very much a GG go next map if you don't know how to play it perfectly.
Yes, you see the leader Ping there having a little bit of trouble. There's just a lot of also skirmish power on Clown Ensemble. You have this brush in Xyler. They also, of course, have a wiper. So one of the things I don't care for about Lemuria is it's difficult for me to figure out. It's a little bit easier on zones, but I'm like, where am I supposed to look? Because there's always someone who can kind of get behind you. There's just so many flanks and so many areas to stand that can make it really difficult, and especially when you have those skirmishy weapons that can just rotate around the map. You're a leader trying to hit your shot, and suddenly there's a brush on your left just chipping you out. It can just be so difficult. So now that we will be heading into tower control ship shape.
Okay, well, at least it's a more normalized map pick versus Zones Lemuria. But I don't actually. Oh no, I lied. They have a leader. I was gonna say that the comp doesn't really favor the map pick compared to like how much fighting power Clown Ensemble has, but they have a leader. So the leader just needs to hit the shots to keep the front lines at bay, honestly.
Honestly, yeah, I agree. On tower, it can really just sort of be a point and shoot. Someone tries to get on that tower, boom, they're down, as long as the leader is positioned in the proper place. But given that Clown Ensemble, like Pangea clearly was having trouble with their positioning, but also the members of Clown Ensemble seem to be very strong players as well. So I think Pangea kind of have their work cut out for them picking a place that is so snowbally, because the second that tower just kind of gets out of your hands and gets a really good push, it's going to be very difficult to stop even with a leader.
Especially with that brush. I mean, you're just going to start, I guess, splashing around the map. It's not going to be very easy to disrupt the brush's flow, and for Pangea, it's going to be a big issue for them because the Octo Brush can hit every single high ledge on this map. So you've got to disrupt the brush, and I don't know if Pangea has the tools to do that. We see a very, very frontline heavy comp, though, come out from Pangea, so dismiss whatever I said about the leader. They're going for fights and fights only.
Yes, that is going to be difficult to deal with. I think we've got Azuka strikes for GG, but two of their members, the aforementioned Zuka and the GG strikes, are going to go down into a wipeout ultimately. So Clown Ensemble with a really strong opening. I think they have that bow online. Automatically, one of their members are going to get checked, and I think that was two members down ultimately. But just like we saw before, all they need is one person up, and they're going to continue pushing here. So even though the wiper is going to go down, that runaway train that is the tower just keeps on trucking.
And here's what I was saying about that brush. They can't deal with it effectively. Gets one. The Nautilus is two-shot. They're going to have to heal up here. But they've got to deal with the Wiper to fight off as well. The Tri-Strikes are going to go ahead and help the Knot back up. Unfortunately, they do go down, but one does go down on the side of Clown Ensemble as well. But, I mean, look at Pangea and the style they're fighting. They have to play so solo. And at this point, like, what do you say when you're staggered? The tower is still advancing. Clown Ensemble is already through the easy checkpoint and approaching the ledge checkpoint here now. The Slosher is going to have to do some real work, but like I said, here comes the brush. The brush actually does go down, unfortunately, for the Zipcaster to go down on the side of Clown Ensemble. It's a 1v1, and the bow does go down eventually. The checkpoint has been reached for Clown Ensemble, but it has not been taken, so not all hope is lost.
Yeah, I would argue that's sort of the GG checkpoint. Once you break through that one, you've essentially lost the game, but you have Brago just going down to that chip from the bow ultimately on their push, so that tower's going to stay in mid, Cooler out, all of their members going to take it. I think with these chumps, there's just like an overwhelming amount of paint. It's just difficult once again, we're having an issue with positioning, and you see that coming out in the wipeout we just saw. 2 people died on that top right, so ultimately, Pangea, they just can't find anywhere to stand between being chipped out from that bow, the wall of ink coming out from the Dynamo. Wiper just puts paint down for nothing. This is difficult for them. I think as much as we said they have a lot of fighting power, you know, Cloud Ensemble has a lot of fight too.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you're not in neutral for this Cloud Ensemble composition, you're basically benefiting. Even in disadvantage, it's not going to be hard to start a retake, because all you really need is the brush to find a pick, to get a special, and then just have the Dynamo start swinging. They are on the ledge check now. Jammy is going to get forced off the tower. Do they get the dash dance around to get the checkpoint? They do. That might just be wraps for Pangea. I can't lie, Sasu, as the tower comes to 3-2-1 in its game.
Yeah, like I said, that's the GG checkpoint. I think it's the hardest, perhaps, to push, to get through, because obviously the other team, especially if they have AoE, they can just rain it down on that tower. But if you're somehow able to break through it, that's just kind of it. The tower is going to probably get to the end, and even if it doesn't, it's gotten close enough to the point where counter pushing on that and getting past that score is going to be nigh impossible. So I think that is a 2-0 for Pangea that we are seeing here. And oh, for Clown Ensemble. Why did I say Pangea? I think I was just reading their name. But thank you for the correction. That is the 2-0 for Clown Ensemble, and in decisive fashion, no less.
Yeah, I mean, can we just talk about the speed on the speed ladder as we look at this instant replay here? Huge wipe, by the way, from Clown Ensemble to get the game started with a snowbally fashion. But we've seen 2 sets within 30 minutes already be completed. Half of the tournaments I see in weeklies, it takes 45 minutes for a best of 3 to get finished.
Yeah, you know, Sendo, as you know, Sendo put in that new
the match timer thing, yes.
Where, exactly, because so many people just take too much time to let TOs know, listen, these people are over. You might just have to call the game because it's taking too long. So Splatoon players will take their time. They will go to the bathroom and queue into open mid-set and make things delay and give trouble. But these teams are taking the speed and speed ladder very seriously.
Yeah, two sets in. Clown Ensemble's gonna have to be very happy with that early victory. If I remember correctly, how Start.gg does the speed ladder format is there are multiple divisions on the ladder, quote unquote, and the number of wins you get bumped up divs as you keep playing. I believe it goes all the way up to Hall of Fame or something. I haven't competed in the speed ladder for years, basically, at this point. So I'm not entirely sure if that's still how they do it, but you're going to be able to take a lot of these early matches now in, and then keep divving up and fight stronger opponents. So I think as we go on, like later in the tournament, the pace is going to slow down a little bit. Everybody starts in that same bottom div, so you're going to see some unfair matchups. For sure. Some teams that will absolutely curb stomp others, as we've seen for basically both of our stream sets so far. I think as we get in later to the tournament, we're going to see that things get quite a lot closer.
Yes, I'm inclined to agree. I think that very unfortunately, it's like it's like a tourney low-key with no seeding. You're not really, it's like self-seeding with the ladder, so to speak. So it's very possible that, you know, imagine you're just going into, let's say, an SOS or a paddling pool, and there's just no seeding. So there's just big sharks.
Big sharks in a little pond.
Just like you, exactly. And granted, a lot of those big sharks are in the same pond, so it's very possible that someone gets pushed down because they went up against another team that's really strong super early on, and now they're facing you, who may also be a little bit lower down. But like you said, Yoshi, we definitely, a lot of these early games are going to be a bit mismatched in terms of the skill of the players, but as time goes on, they will get closer and closer as the, I think the algorithm sort of clues into approximately where you are skill level wise.
Yeah, I mean, the more matches you play, the better and better that the ladder will match you up. I mean, it's kind of like random Swiss in a way, where you keep playing more matches and you keep getting opponents that are basically at your win record. Like you said, there's always a chance that a strong team got upset and now they're basically smurfing your div, unfortunately.
Oh.
But we've got, you know, so many matches being played, so many teams having these head-to-heads. It's gonna fizzle out to a point where you should meet your match. Speaking of matches, we've got our new one on stream now. We've got C, Sabrith, Archer, Solver, and Esther versus Gaia.
It's funny. It's been a long while since I've been on the mic and not had to commentate for my buddies on Gaia. Of course, we do have Sencon, Luckyo, Devade, and Violet playing in with Gaia today. Violet, I think maybe subbing in, which is funny. Gaia has a 5-person roster, but listen, it's Saturday, it's Valentine's Day. Believe it or not, some of these Splatoon players are busy.
No way? Nah. I refuse. I refuse.
We're all outing ourselves for having absolutely nothing to do on Valentine's Day by playing Speed Ladder. But on C's is gonna be Sabrith, Arter, Solver, and Esther. I'm just going to read that 5 as an S here, so we'll see how both of
Maybe
these
it's
teams
Eater.
fare. Oh, you think so? Maybe
It might be Eater.
It could be E5 Tur.
Oh yeah, maybe we're just reading a little too hard into it.
Who knows? But what we do know is that the first map mode, well, we know the first mode, it will be zones, but it's ultimately going to be random. What the zone is, we're just waiting on that. And fingers crossed for these teams that it's not going to be Eeltail. That's all I can offer.
Honestly, yeah. I think if I randomed into Eeltail, the switch might be off for the set.
Wait,
oh, but it's Mako!
Yes, it is gonna be Mako Mart, which most competitive players are just super used to. So this is definitely a roll of the dice I can get behind, because you've got your strategy, you know what it is you have to do. Really curious to see what these teams will run. I think Violet typically does play Slosher, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't actually remember which Violet this is. There are like 3 Violets around like the high level in the community. I don't think it's the Carbon Violet. I think they retired.
I think this may be the Violet that often plays with Divya, who plays on...
It could be, yeah, it could be old Ink in the System Violet.
Oh, you are encyclopedic, Yoshi.
Yeah. I've been here for a hot minute, you know. I competed for 6 years or anything. It's fine.
But I think we're gonna be getting into it shortly. I know that, listen, I'm not gonna say that Sencon is gonna be on that rapid exactly because they will embarrass me. So instead we are gonna see that Pen, Luckyo on the 96, nothing special there. Violet, that we were pointing out before, gonna be on decaf, and I think that is Devade, who is on the dualies. No surprise there. But what is a surprise, I'd argue, is that we're seeing not just a squeezer, but the squeezer with screen.
I honestly think this weapon is so underutilized. I think Foil Squeezer has a lot of potential, especially with the screen. Screen hasn't been experimented with much because of the screen ban surrounding player accessibility. So screen isn't always allowed in every set. But the sets that it is allowed in, I think it's incredibly underutilized. I should probably start talking about the game though, because Gaia is quite literally already wiped out the orange team here. And it looks like it's going to be an early start. Actually, C's got a early zone cap, but I think Gaia's now finding their footing. Speaking of map changes, or game changes, we've got these new health bars. They're actually very nice. It helps a lot visualize, you know, how weak your opponent is. I think it's a really good change.
Why, yes, and I'm sure that is helping Gaia out as well. Obviously, Sencon on that that pen, when someone is chipped out, literally being able to accurately say that this person is one or that they're chipped or how low they are. The rest of their teammates can come in and try and clean that up. But we do have C's trying to mount a comeback, but 2 of their members go down. And I think that might be it. But the
Oh, no.
dies in zone, and they were trying to make a hero play. They could have really made something happen here, but unfortunately, I think none of their teammates were up, and that's going to be a very decisive win here for Gaia right off the top.
Yeah, I think something that I could see very clearly with C's fighting style, they were never really together. There was always some form of 1v1 being taken, and it was always an untradeable scenario. I mean, you can see Eater, Esther, whatever there. They get traded out so quickly, but look at this Dynamo. They're stuck on plat. The Squeezer's stuck in zone. They have to find the pick. There's not a lot you can do, and you can see in the top HUD here, the stagger is just so bad for C's. They never have the ability to take their 1v1s and make them 2v1s. They never have the ability to trade. And with this comp with the Gal, the Dynamo Bow does provide a lot of paint, but it's not going to help if they're dead.
Yeah, I also have to give a shout out to Violet here. I feel like throughout most of the game, I just saw them really just running around the map, doing a lot of really strong cleanup, and taking advantage of the people who were out of position or perhaps like could have been a danger. I think at the end we saw that foil squeezer threatening to neutralize that entire zone. And if I'm not mistaken, it was Violet who made that cleanup, got that pick on them on zone, and finished out the game. And like we mentioned, this is speed ladder. It is about speed, getting in as many games as you can in a little bit amount of time. So the fact that Gaia was able to make it through very quickly, I'm sure is good for them.
Yeah, for sure. But you can't forget the ladder part of speed ladder. You've also got a lot more matches to play, so you can't get beaten up over these little mistakes. Especially fighting a team as strong as Gaia, I think C's is gotta like kind of sit in their VC, take a mental reset. Okay, we gotta make a plan. Let's take these fights together here. Try to fish out like this Stamper or any of like these dualies. You gotta identify what your big problem is, and then you need to go in with that game plan to consolidate and solve that. If you're just mindlessly playing, you're gonna be stuck in the low div, and that's just a fact.
Yeah, and you know, some of these teams are also looking, maybe they did FLUTI, didn't do so well, so you have to do the speed ladder to get more of those games in, to get your div higher, to counteract if that is the case. But in the meantime, we have gotten the map mode, the counter pick from C's. It's gonna be Undertow, Tower Undertow. I mean, I don't like it, but if you like it, I love it, C's.
I mean, they've got the Dynamo Bow comp. I don't expect to see both of them come out on this map, but with all of the elevation on this map, I think it might be, you know, a stronger end pick. I won't say it's definitely the pick that I would have done, especially knowing that they have a Splatana player, but, you know, let's see how it works out.
Both of them do end up coming out. I think we might see a switch on that bow instead onto the whale, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it is well.
And we also have a change from Devade onto the Twinkle Dually. So that bubble is going to be on tower, making it all the more difficult for them to clear it when the time comes. But right off the top, both of these teams just going to try and get their picks. You have, I think that's Luckio on the bottom left, trying to just put some of that paint down, and a 1v1 happening here. Violet gonna get the pick with this switch onto Wiper that we saw off of Deep Cab. I think handing that bubble off to Devade instead, and they are going to just continue getting those picks, and finally I think that is going to be the tower for Gaia.
Here's the screen though, this is what I'm talking about. It's gonna try and get you back in, but the crack and the counter. Especially with a slower comp like C's, that Kraken's gonna be so destructive. It does find one. But can we talk about Violet for a second? Just a couple seconds ago, they lived for so long and they got two. What in the world?
Violet is really eating the girlies up. That's why I have to give a shout out to Violet in that last game, because it really feels like they're everything everywhere all at once. But I think that because of that top right, that Bo just being disruptive, rather that top left, my apologies, they were able to effectively threaten Gaia enough that they moved back, and they have the tower in their position. Gaia had an okay push off of that top, but I think that C's is really well positioned to possibly even take the lead if they really put their foot in it. Ooh, and 3 of their members go down. I'm gonna have to say a sorry there, because I thought they were in a good position, but these are really strong players on Gaia. You're never in a great position for long.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you have so many talented players on this Gaia roster. You're not gonna see them make trivial mistakes. If they go down, they're gonna come back guns and arms swinging. I mean, there's not a lot that you can do to hold advantage unless you really, really focus on holding advantage. And this comp actually, from C's, works best in advantage state. You can zone out your opponents with this bow and this dynamo, and especially this green from the squeezer. But the hard part is just getting advantage.
Yeah, and honestly, I'd also argue it's really good on this defense. Like, Gaia hasn't been able to necessarily get it into mid this tower, because on that top right, they can have the dynamo putting down that ink. They can have their bow, but that's assuming they can get out of their spawn, because you have Luckio, I think, on that Kraken, just funneling everybody into that top left, allowing the tower to just keep moving all of this time. And now they are seconds away from knockout and a 2-0. Remember, this is match point. So Violet just holding on for dear life while the rest of their teammates come up. And I think that's 2-3 members down on C's, but ultimately they're able to get the tower out of that danger point, and it is resetting back to mid.
I definitely see your point with this comp being strong on defense, but you can't play defense forever, especially when Gaia was a singular tick from taking that last checkpoint. They're on 13, you're on 92. You gotta make something happen, and it's not going to happen if you're going 2 down to the 96 gal like that.
Yes, Luckio is being an absolute menace between that Kraken and just the pure mechs. And unfortunately for C's, that's going to be a bubble from Devade onto the tower. Very quickly, they shred it, but ultimately the tower is still there. If someone's able to just dive that tower, which they are not, I think once again, you have that bow, you have that, that dynamo at the time. But with 2 more of their members go down, honestly, this just feels like a power struggle for the end. Gaia just keeps trying, and they keep having to retreat. So in the meantime, C's don't really have any points on the board. They have to get out of this situation, like you said, Yoshi, where they're just defending and finally put some points up, but it's just not looking good for them so far.
Exactly, and honestly, I don't even think Gaia needs to fish for the knockout here. It is speed ladder, obviously, and you want to play as many games as you can, but with 36 seconds left, all they really need to do is just keep them at bay. As I said, I thought the bubble was going to come out. Oh my god, Devade. Oh my god, Devade, no! almost a KO. That was almost insane.
Not to mention, like, sometimes, you know, the tower with the inertia, you can die on tower and yet it'll still keep moving. So the fact that they weren't able to get that last tick is kind of tragic, because clearly Gaia is saying, like you said, Yoshi, this is speed ladder. We want to get this done with as quickly as possible so we can move on to the next game. But we always talk about the GG strikes, the GG booyah. We need to start talking about the GG Kraken, because that is just what happened at Luckio.
My jaw is agape. Holy crap. that was a beautiful Kraken from Luckio. No glaze. That was just genuinely stunning.
That's just tea, and you see Violet ending out the poses there with my personal foes. I love to see it. Gaia with a decisive 2-0 win, but I also have to give it up to C's. It was a little bit, they were definitely on the struggle bus for that first game, but they did a really good job at their defense. I think Gaia, other teams would have been able to just sort of like run through this, but because of the defense they were putting up, they were constantly forcing them off of the tower and to reset. So sometimes when a team is just straight stronger than you can't even manage that, but I have to give it up for them for that screen use and for that good defense.
Yeah, I mean, it's gotta be kind of intimidating if you're C's. I mean, you're playing so many high-level players, and I mean, you're literally playing a world champion from a different game in Luckio. So,
Yep.
like, in a game as popular as Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and by contrast, Mario Kart World, it's gotta be intimidating when you know you are quite literally playing the best of their class.
You're like, hey, this guy was like asked to come to Japan to play Mario Kart. Like,
Exactly.
this guy is like a Nintendo darling, and I'm up against him in Speed Ladder. Like, I might get a little nervous for sure.
Exactly. It's like if you're playing a Mario Kart Clan War and all of a sudden you have to go against Kyo or Kiver that has the previous Mario Kart experience but still is a very, very strong Splatoon player. I would have been flustered. Like, I don't blame C's for getting, you know, a little rocked. Gaia by themselves as well. I mean, Senkong, Violet, they're also incredibly strong players. And I mean, you saw Devade with the hero plays too. It's not an easy roster to beat.
Yes, for sure. I think Gaia gonna be jockeying for those higher divs this time around. So this is certainly going to help them go up higher. You see on I guess my right, on your left, a graphic of where players are currently, what's the word, like seeded to be according to how they're doing in the ladder.
Oh no, that's where they currently are.
Yes, where they currently are seeded to be in the ladder. I think according to like their, what's the word, like their
match record. No,
their match record.
How the ladder format works on Start.gg is they will try to attempt to now place any pro div player against another pro div team, and if no pro players that are suitable are queuing, then it'll cycle downward. So, like, the players that are in the pro division currently are just in the pro division. They're not going to be seeded in later. They are locked in the pro division for the time being.
I think perhaps my wording of seeding is like a
little ambiguous.
Bit like of a misnomer, I guess I'll say.
Yeah.
This is like where they've been played, like in ladder wise. So these are the players that are gonna go really up against each other. This is where they've decided, like, this is your strength according to your match record. But I think as the match records go on, if I'm not mistaken, they might be like moving up. Like if you're just like getting a bunch of, what's the word?
If you're getting
like,
a bunch of quick wins,
more wins,
yeah,
it will move you up. Or if you just whiff it, if you just absolutely biff it for the rest of it and you're in pro, they will move you down, I think. So
I actually don't remember if you can div down.
Ooh.
Let's check on that.
Yoshi's hard at work.
I'm gonna do some research.
Oh wow. Honestly, ladders can just be so confusing because I think even then, the way yes, you can indeed, we are getting word you can div down via a strike rule. So
yes, I lied. You can go down. I've also, production has given us the confirmation, but I as well also just saw you can go down. It's dependent on how many stars you have, which is correlated to your win-loss record. You can div down. I actually am quite surprised. I mean, we're only 15 minutes in, so most teams have played probably 2 sets max. So I don't think any team has enough stars to get into Challenger yet.
Yeah, I think that is why, like, most of the pro players are going to be looking to hopefully get in those games where they can move up to Challenger. Wait,
as I say that, commentators curse.
And I was like, I think technically we've done 3, so it is very possible that there are teams that have finished 3 full sets and have just swept them and gone up to Challenger. So they will be there alone. Obviously, they're not going to queue up against another Challenger, so they'll probably just have to queue up against someone in pro and then hope to continue their record.
Hey,
is
that's a
how
good thing,
that's
though.
going
You're
to go.
basically smurfing a lower div. I mean, relative to how... Oh, I lied. There's another challenge team already. Basically, relative to how strong you are, the pros and the challengers right now, they're probably pretty close in skill level. But, I mean, just feeling being in challenger now with quite literally an hour or 2 hours, sorry, and 10 minutes left to go, it's got to be such a great feeling.
Yeah, but you know, the night is young,
Mm-hmm,
and there's
mm-hmm.
plenty of time to div down. So both of these teams that are in there, and the more that I'm sure are joining them, are gonna have to really lock in. But speaking of lock in, these teams are locked in to undertow zones, that being full combo and the Irish Monarchy. I think looking at these teams, I know JC, and I believe I've met them in person more than once. So definitely going to be interested to see how these teams fare on this first random zones map.
This is the Goldeb that I'm thinking of, which I believe there is, because I don't think anybody else in our scene is named Goldeb. I think this will be a very, very interesting match for sure. I do see the name TK. I don't recognize that in the Splatoon scene. I've seen a TK in numerous other scenes, but I don't think it's the TK that I'm thinking of.
Yeah, right? Imagine there's like a fighting game. Well, listen, if Lucio's here, there could definitely just be
I mean, yeah, speaking of
from
Mario
another.
Kart, Mario Kart Wii Extraordinaire, Toad Kart, also named TK, but I highly doubt he's going to be playing Splatoon right now. Speaking of Splatoon, though, we've got Zones Undertow here. We've got a little bit of a Stamper Ditto. It is going to be two different variations of the Stampers, though. We've got the Claus Gal out here from Treerex as the kind of midlight support, I guess. It's not really used as much as I thought it would be on release. But the Irish Monarchy here is going to do a very good job of cleaning up, actually, with a huge 3. And they're going to go ahead and get this zone early and try to hopefully set up a lockout.
It's funny that you mentioned the Claus Gal, because my eyes immediately go to Dowsers, which are certainly not used all that often, and the Slosher Deco that is on a full combo. But I think right now they're having a bit of an issue, though. They have their specials. One of those specials going to go off the table due to that Dreadringer going down, but fortunately for them, they were coolered, so they still have that available. One of those specials coming out, gonna be that Booyah Bomb, and I think that forces the Irish Monarchy a bit out of position, but so far, none of the special use has been able to really break through their defenses.
Yeah, I mean, out of position or not, if you're getting the picks, there's not a lot that your opponents can do. Full motion there. Nice pick on, I believe that was the Slosher. I couldn't really see. But with 13 ticks left, the Tri-Strikes are out. Jay's going to have to make a Slosher play. There's one. The zone is going to have to try and be capped. The Claus Gal is going to hold the left zone. The left zone does get taken out, but they both go down. There's not a lot they can do. The Irish Monarchy is going to close out game 1 in a pretty convincing fashion.
Yes, I think for some of these, listen, like you saw, a lot of people are right now in the sort of lower ranks of the ladder, but still, like I said, you might go up against a really strong team right off the top who's around your skill level. You get dealt a loss, and you might get some losses, even though you're a strong team, putting you in a lower div, and then putting you up against teams that may not necessarily be at your immediate skill level. So we saw that play try to come out there with the Booyah Bomb and the inking, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough, and it seemed like members of Full Combo were just going down too much.
Yeah, I think something that I've been seeing a lot on these stream sets is they aren't fighting together. Each of these opponents are trying to make a hero play. And I mean, in a game so fast-paced as Splatoon, it's hard, very, very hard to coordinate everything perfectly. And you've got to have some semblance of trust between your teammates to know that they need to get done what they need to get done. But if it's not getting done, you're creating yourself extra problems. And I think the best way to kind of remedy that is to kind of have an IGL in your call being like, okay, we need to fight this here, we need to fight this now, have two go over there, and then we need to retake effectively. All of these teams that have been like getting dropped quickly just fight by themselves. There is no tradability. There is no 2v1s being taken, except for the very end there with Jay and the Stamper on that left zone. So it's going to be really hard to play these fast-paced zones games. And I think it's why a lot of these teams are actually counter-picking tower. I might just be talking right out of my butt. They might just like tower control. But I know from an analysis standpoint, considering I've done like so much analysis over Splatoon over the years I've competed, and I guess now retired, it's kind of an apparent pattern.
Yeah, you know, I agree, and I think that half of the reason you're just seeing so many of these fights taken alone also is because they're just staggering, and then the problem snowballs. You know, everyone is alone because the rest of their teammates are down. So then you're taking this 1v1. It's maybe something you could win if you have a buddy with you, maybe something that you probably lose due to a mechanical difference or you know, perhaps a difference in skill, but it's like you're not fighting with your friend because you look up at your UI and only 2 of you are up, and maybe that should be your time to back up and regroup. But at the same time, in that time that you're backing up and regrouping, maybe that's the correct way to go, they are moving up and trying to just wipe you off the face of the planet. So it can just really be a difficult thing, but we'll see if in the meantime, you know, in the time they've been picking their weapons, there's been a bit of a talk about what they have to do to come out victorious here. Of course, we are going to be on Haggle Tower. I don't care for Haggle Tower. Another snowbally map. And once you break through that bottom left checkpoint, it's kind of like a free ride all the way to that final check. So we have some changes here. I think a change onto the Rapid, if I'm not mistaken, the cooler Rapid.
Yes.
I don't think we saw that last time. And we also have a T-Tech with strikes ready to go on full combo.
Yeah. Unfortunately, one does quickly go down in the Slosher. Full combo, it is traded out, but another one goes down. The Slosher is by itself. Actually, a good trade. I think just fights are being taken left and right, but it looks like the Irish Monarchy are going to come out on top for, I guess, all the skirmishes that have happened. Okay, there's a little bit of a visual bug going on. I'm like, this Claus Gal is purely standing in orange ink, and they're hopping fully. That can't be right. I think there's just a little bit of lag from production. All good. We are gonna go ahead and see though, like we said before, full combo is already staggering again.
Yes, but on a place like this, I think that Haggle, it can be super easy to stagger because it can be easy as well to just lock out. But you see, Away Healer is going to be the last person on their team. Let's see if they can jump out, and they do. So they're going to reset, just as we've maybe suggested. But look at all that paint coming out of the Irish Monarchy, and a jet out of this Brella as well. Not going to be phased by those tri-strikes, and they're making their way to that proverbial bottom right I was talking about, where if you break through that, you basically have it made in the shade. A jump out from Jay, another member down in their T-Tech. It's not looking good for full combo, unfortunately.
Yeah, that bottom right check is easily the hardest on the map, and they got through it with ease. As I said, that 2 go down on the Irish Monarchy, but like I said, it's still nowhere near advantage for full combo here. They've got to find a way to get that third pick, which there it is, but 2 have already jumped over the Irish Monarchy, so it isn't going to really help. They have no specials minus this tri-strikes, which I think they're going to have to save for this checkpoint here. And they do use it, but more and more members keep going down on the side of full combo. I wouldn't be surprised if this check and potentially the next check just go down very quickly.
Not to mention, they are still on that Slosher deco. Interesting choice, given that essentially the Irish Monarchy are backless, right? So usually you want that zip to put a backline out of position, and there's no one really to put out of position here. But speaking of which, 2 members gonna go down for the full combo and the Irish Monarchy, so we're on a bit of even footing, and very good. They did a great job of getting down that Brella to deny them the jet that they had. So 3 of those members are down, and right now it just looks like a slow bleed, perhaps to the Irish Monarchy victory. We'll see.
Yeah, and kind of a blunder from away healer there. I mean, they got the pick in mid, but they aren't aware that their teammate is basically struggling in that bottom right check, as we were talking, that's been cleared. Like I said before, you need to take those 1v1s and make them 2v1s, or at bare minimum, make them tradable, and neither of those happen, and it just set up another Irish Monarchy ride. They are on this third checkpoint here now, and there's not a lot to support full combo here. That one gets the hero pick on the play, Bunny goes down, Rare goes down, and there's 4 ticks, 3 ticks, 2 ticks, 1 tick, and they're just not going to get there in time. Irish Monarchy is going to take the set.
Yeah, the full combo rather. They had GG specials, but they didn't necessarily utilize them. I think those. Oh no, they didn't. No, the T-Tech had the tri-strikes. I keep forgetting. Bucket Deco is a little bit of a rare pick. Usually, of course, you see that vanilla kit being used. So I keep thinking, why isn't the slosher using their tri-strike?
No, what do you mean rare? Jay was on the slosher, not rare. Get it right.
Oh. You got me. Fair enough. But they had the T-Tech, I think, to make up for that fact. So the T-Tech didn't have it. And I think, I don't know if we're going to necessarily see it here, but you're mentioning away healer with a bit of a blunder. We also had a Booyah Bomb come out, and they threw it on themselves instead of the tower, at least to just clear it, maybe force people out of position. I think they just didn't want to go down, tried to stop the bleeding, but it just wasn't enough in the end. And that's going to be a full, very dominant push there for the Irish Monarchy. In the spirit of speed ladder, very speedy win, I'd argue.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's been a lot of O2s. We have not seen a game 3 yet. We have not seen a game 3, and I mean that's kind of just the beauty of the unseeded speed ladder format, where you're playing. I mean, I guess now with an hour in, you've got a little bit more wiggle room to start playing in people like that are closer to your skill level. We see this intermediate diff kind of starting to bunch up most of the teams, as it usually does. We see a lot more entrants into pro and challenger as well. Always happy to see that. But yeah, I would love to see game 3.
As we would all, but you know, like, honestly, ladders, like, when it comes to, let's say, NA League, because that's the other major ladder that you really see, that's televised isn't the word, streamed, right? But they're not streaming the ladder portion. You get all the exciting bracket gameplay at the end when the dust has settled. But really, this is what's going on behind the scenes. There's a lot of 2-0s, and considering how many games that are played, and people trying to do so quickly, I think that's another part of it, is that you're like, listen, I want the most games I can physically squeeze into this little amount of time. So we're not just like, oh, like, let's play this game. We are also playing for speed and playing to knock you out, like a wave of just destruction. So I think that also plays into it as to why you're seeing these 2-0s, because these teams are like, not just like, let me try and win this game. That's why we saw Gaia. They had the game like in their bag, 30 seconds left, and yet they were still going for the KO. They weren't just like, let's go on defense because they're not going to win. They're like, we want this done as fast as possible, so we're going to keep putting in this work until we get it.
Exactly. I mean, in a normal Splatoon set, if like double elimination, I think in Gaia's position there, you would be like, okay, we literally have the tower on 1 point, we are up 1-0, and we are down 2. There is no reason for us to push the tower. But in Speed Ladder, it's so different, because if you finish the match faster, that might just mean another game you get to queue before that 4 p.m. EST deadline.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so much to do in terms of like queue as like weapon comps, because you're playing so many teams, right? I mean, the tournaments that have the most like playtime outside of like NA League, because that was like 8 hours a day. That was a lot. But brutal. Like, think about it. Like Low Ink Day 1, you're playing 6 different teams. Most of these teams have already played 3 to 4 matches already, and it's been an hour.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, anyone who's played low ink, what a long day that you have to get through, and those aren't timed the same way. So I think that there's also aside from the fact that you're going for speed, I think that also puts an extra amount of pressure as well, where you're playing this game and you're on that second match and you're like, we have to close it out here. We can't afford a game 3 wasting time like this. So we have to lock in and just destroy this other team as fast as possible, because if they're able to get this game, that's time lost. So it's a whole nother interesting sort of uh, matrix of pressure that's on these teams, because you don't only want these wins, these 2-0s, because they look great on your record, and the seeding council for LUTI is going to take a look at those, but you know, that one game that you're able to squeeze in because you 2-0'd enough of them may be the one that gets you a single div higher than you otherwise would have been.
Exactly, like you said, every second counts when it comes to the speed ladder, and matches are allowed to be played after the 4 p.m. EST deadline, so long as your opponents are matched, or you're matched with your opponent at 3:59. So if you can get that extra game and, you know, you finish your set at 3:55, you say, okay, guys, we want to play one more, let's queue. If you, like earlier in the day, had a game that you accidentally blundered and it went to a 1-1, that opportunity might not be available anymore.
Yes, and that is what both of these teams are going to be staring down. The Night Logic versus Event Horizon. There is yet another...
Yo!
This is Velvet, not Violet. That's...
Okay, if this is... I recognize none of these players on this TNL roster, but is this actually the Night Logic from 2022? Is this like the same team?
I cannot confirm, as
Darn.
this is...
But yeah, that's my friend Velvet over there, another Ink in the System player.
As a matter of fact, I think I might have confused Violet with Velvet, which is why I made that that call about Slosher.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Listen.
Wait, hold on.
I did. I confused Velvet for Violet, or Violet for Velvet, regardless. That
Production
is my
has
error.
just given me a heads up that this is actually the same TNL, I guess, team tag from, like, back when I used to compete, but I recognize none of these players. I'm not gonna lie.
It's like what's that that fable with the ship? The ship where you change all of the parts.
Oh yes, like,
Yeah, like
if you take a, it's like a philosophical paradox. Like, if you take a ship, you take it apart and then build it all with new parts, is it really the same ship?
Well, if you take Wahoo out of Splatoon, out of its original Splatoon game, and is it the same Wahoo? I think we're gonna.
I mean, the timer's still there at least.
Yes, so I think we're inclined to believe it is the same Wahoo, despite that big old pole in the center. But starting off the top, noticeable, the Night Logic not running any cooler. So they will be going at this coolerless, and so will their opponents in Event Horizon. And I've always gotta call it out, Yoshi, whenever I see a Forge. Forge is one of my favorite weapons, so shout out to Event Horizon for running that, even though the Forge is gonna go down there. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the use of 2 Dreadringers here from the Event Horizon as well. An interesting comp for sure.
I mean, it's working. They've already got 30 down on the zone. And I mean, okay, we're gonna go ahead, though, and see Event Horizon. They're gonna try and actually not quite set up a lockout. I think they're just trying to hold mid in kind of a neutral advantage state here. Unfortunately, one of the Dreads do go down with the trade, though. Oh, nice pick, though, from Jay. They're about halfway to their Booyah Bomb now, but I don't actually know if they're gonna be able to break through, even with the raid as well. They are, and Velvet is gonna get called out. Gonna be forced to jump out. They do get out with around a third health remaining, and now we're going to go ahead and see the Night Logic finally start their attack here. They aren't going to be met with a lot of space, though. The Reef Slider is going to go into the plat, the Crab is going to get cancelled, and the timer is still going down on the zone. Here's the Reef Slider from Event Horizon. But, I mean, there's not a lot of space for the Night Logic to work on. The plat was basically all pink, and as I say that, a staggered wipe from the Night Logic will go ahead and end that push incredibly quickly, and the Event Horizon is now just going to go ahead and look to, oh my god, look to recapitalize on this lockout scenario, and what a double! What a triple! Oh baby!
Into a wipeout that player of the game, because that flank literally basically wiped out the rest of the team. One thing about Wahoo, the place is so huge that you can't necessarily keep your eyes on absolutely everything. So they were essentially, it's like a rat was able to get into the clockwork there and just have that happen. But you have the zip coming out, it's gonna get punished, and that is it. Event Horizon with a hero play, I'd argue. Not hero play, that's not the word I want, but like a game-winning play for sure from that decaf. Gonna take the win here on Wahoo.
Yeah, I mean, Waffle literally just put the amusement in the Wahoo World amusement park. Because what a play. What a play.
My gosh, here you have this trade happening here, and a really strong just run from Jay that I remember you pointed out. But I think that, like, one thing is both of these teams had Reef Sliders, and I guess they're not so used to that nerf from Reef Slider, because several people tried to Reef Slider to the zone to no avail, and you have just walking up here like an absolute G. And getting this double off the top into a triple, and I think their last teammate gonna take care of that crab, giving them the full wipeout. Glad we got to see this for sure on that replay.
Yeah, that was... what a novel pick. Set of picks, sorry. That was, I mean, it's what you have to be aware of, though, if you are playing Wahoo. I mean, all of my Splatoon 2 veterans know that is probably one of the most dangerous positions you can let your opponents be in on a Zones Wahoo map. And the fact that they just let Waffle walk up and slash!
Didn't even swim, just walked up nice and slow in kid form. And they are being paid back in turn with Ship-Shaped Tower. We have seen Ship-Shaped Tower. This is, whenever this comes up, I'm always like, woo, it's a little chilly in here. It must be the snowball. Because, woo, is it hard to stop a team once they've really got it going on this tower.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, both of these teams have comps that are absolutely capable of snowballing. I mean, we saw the Decav and we saw the Stamper. Those are going to be able to pick those high ledges off pretty reliably, I'd say. So that second checkpoint for both teams is by no means a guaranteed stop for your opponents on the tower. If you can get up to that top left here, you find the picks on the top left even, I think you're going to have a lot better of a time trying to set up the map. If you are the Night Logic here, what are you kind of thinking in your call? What are you thinking in your call, Sasu? Just trying to kind of mentally reset and bring what you want to do into the table for the match.
Well, firstly, we might want to look into some comp changes here. I think obviously we're on tower. We have a double sword comp. I think that's a junior, and we have the same comp. It worked last time out of the Event Horizon, so I'm sure the number one thing on the docket is awareness. One of the reasons they lost that game is because they simply weren't aware when that first pick happened. Even the second pick. The third pick certainly should not have. So if these teams just stay aware of what's on the board and who's where, it might spell a better game for them.
I mean, this is probably got to be the optimal map mode if you're Event Horizon, right? With this double Dread comp, I honestly don't know why CNL picked this map. I mean, you see a comp with double Dread Ringer, the last map you want to pick a Ship Shape.
Yeah, you've got those stacks and they're just gonna slosh over them. It's easy for them to get those trades, and not to mention, even if you're Chipu right here, if there's a Dread, they can just slosh over those grates. and get you while you're under there. So it's just going to be the Nautilus who's up. They're waiting for their teammates. And now we have arrived to the checkpoint of death. If they're not able to clear them here, going to be hard to figure out where they are able to clear them. And they do so. 2 of the members down, but there's still a Dreadringer with their special online, but not before it gets canceled. So I think the Night Logic has successfully sort of put everything under control. They've got mid. Now it's time to see what they can do with
it. Get picked by a bubble, apparently. nice suck bomb from Velvet here. Gonna try and maybe force out Chippu. Chippu is less than 1 tap for a while, and it looks like the blue bomb is gonna claim 2 victims with B falling in as well. And there's the float aura for Velvet. How are they going to capitalize off it though? I think it might just be paint. And honestly, I don't think the Forge Pro is going to try and, you know, fish for a pick necessarily. As I say that though, they're gonna try and put some pressure onto B. Another Booyah Bomb does come out here for the special. Velvet is going to be kind of pickle though. B is going to find the pick, but as we've been talking about Velvet and their happenings, the tower's been moving.
Yes, but it's been bubbled for the Night Logic, so right now it's about getting rid of that bubble and then getting rid of all the people that are within it, and they're going to do it via Crab. That is a really great brain because it essentially neutralizes that Crab, and you see 3 members down. It is just going to be this 1v1, and a Booyah Bomb comes out to wipe out the last person. So that is a delayed wipeout on Event Horizon, which is exactly essentially what the Night Logic needs in terms of momentum to get this going, because they've passed through checkpoint 1. The tower is making its way right, and if they play their cards right, they might actually be able to put a game on the board.
Yeah, Chippu's going to have to do a lot of work to neutralize the Crab here. The Rain is going to help as well. Chippu 1-tap, Pyre 1-tap as well, but is going to go in the favor of Pyre to go down on the side of Night Logic, with the J being incredibly weak. A trade is actually found though, so it is a 2 versus staggered 2 here. But Event Horizon has control of the tower. They have mainly control of mid in terms of paint. So it's going to be kind of hard for the Night Logic to start kind of resetting the game back to neutral. This Booyah Bomb might get shredded here. Isn't going to find it, and B is running away. And the jump isn't going to come out either. A nice wipe for Event Horizon. And they've got a Crab online. They've got a Reef online. They're about to get the Bubble online with the decav. I don't know what to do here if I'm the Night Logic, to be honest.
Yeah, me neither. I feel like as much as you instinctually on the side of the Night Logic take that top left, Dreadringer there is going to be tough, and they do get a nasty double with that Reef Slider. And ultimately, I think they end up going down, but it doesn't matter because they are essentially in the promised land. The Booyah comes out to try and take that space, force them out of position, and that is going to be the bow on top of this present that is a 2-0 for Event Horizon. The Night Logic put up a really strong fight in the middle section of this game, but ultimately was not enough, Yoshi.
Yeah, I mean, they got so overwhelmed in the neutral by just the level of paint and the level of chip that these Dreadringers are putting out. And I mean, it's such a weird thing to say. Dreadringer and, you know, high levels of paint is never, like, a sentence that you expect to see. But with a double Dreadringer comp on top of Forge, it actually really works on this map. And it's something that has been definitely underutilized, so I'm very glad that the Event Horizon we're down to try it out. Can we just talk about this Reef Slider double? You get run over by the car and then you got killed by the car. There's not a lot you can do. There's not a lot you can do.
Funny, as that was happening, I was talking about how you want to be on that top left to contest the tower, but it's going to be difficult because there's a Dreadringer that can just slosh over the... And so I'm thinking, like this Dreadringer, they're just going to put up that paint, slosh them, maybe get that double because they're holding hands. They were caught holding hands on that top left. No, they go for the full overkill. They said, I'm not trying to get traded out. I'm going to pop a Reef Slider in this tiny little section and just blow up anyone who dared to stand, quite frankly, where they should in theory be. So, really great play and really fun to see those 2 Dreadringers.
Yeah, I mean, basically every single match that we've seen, there's been some form of absolutely class play from all of these teams, and it's been very, very fun to watch. Let's go ahead and take a look at a div update, and we do see there are teams at nearly the halfway mark that have hit Hall of Fame. Oh boy.
I'm so curious who those teams are that are just in Hall of Fame. And since they're going to be matched against each other, they might be pushing them each other down to Challenger. Ultimately. So that's going to be super exciting. But I know we've had so much excitement going on here. We're going to take a short break. Don't you go anywhere, because as you remember, this is Speed Ladder. So this break will be just as speedy.
All right, see y'all later. Don't go anywhere.
They're on to that kid, and they get a quad. They will a full wipeout by now. Multiple members. That's a fifth, and now a sixth. As Zenith, she cannot be stopped. They're close on me. They're. Oh, big double! Huge double Dazuka.
Getting ready to get a really big push going. Funny here, pushing up, getting a pick on the Jerry.
onto that kid, and they get a quad. They will a full wipeout by now. Multiple members. That's a fifth, and now a sixth. As Zenith, she cannot be stopped. They're close on me. They're big double, huge double Dazuka.
Getting ready to get a really big push going funny here. Pushing up, getting a pick onto Jared. Now flanking around and getting 3 members. That's a complete wipe.
Cook's getting taken down, but Melon's still here on the sidelines, just trying to get something done. But really nice shot across the side angle. Will actually work. In fact, getting legal as well.
Shot by Ice because with the Booyah Bomb and a little paint bomb and a full wipeout.
Come follow me. I'll show you the side of the world, the places that you've never seen. Come follow me. Come follow me. I'll show you the side of yourself, the person that you've always been, but never dreamed.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Speed Ladder, where a lot of these teams are just going to be jockeying for more results to hopefully be put in a higher div. I'm Sasu, here with Yoshi, and we're going to be looking at Nocturne versus Remix. Yoshi, we're back from the break. How are you feeling? You ready to get back into these games?
I feel horrible. I saw Splat Zone's Eotail.
You know what? I too feel horrible.
You've got to be
now
kidding
that
me.
you mentioned it, that's I'm so sorry to these teams, but hey, maybe they'll luck out. And I don't think we have a massive amount of intel personally on these teams, so I'm like, maybe one of them has a leader in their pocket, and they're like, oh, thank gosh, like,
Yeah.
thank you, Eeltang.
I don't know. I don't know many people that would be saying thank you, Eotail, especially for zones. But I mean, you know, to each their own. We'll see how these teams play out. Again, we've got Nocturne versus Remix with a lowercase I. So like, how do you print it? Remix? Like, do you have to whisper the I?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. I think that is how it's pronounced. But this is Speed Ladder. We will be speedy, and I simply don't have the time to be quiet on that I. So you will be hearing the full
Oh,
volume
word.
remix during the commentating. But I gotta say, interestingly enough, we have a double roller, double splatling comp out of Nocturne, and a bit more of a traditional play. Actually, yes, out of Remix, though they are running Umbrella, which is making a bit of a splash, a comeback in comp.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many ways to burst down AoE options now that Umbrella doesn't have as much of a tough time anymore. Just trying to move, basically. Especially with like the paint buffs from so many weapons as well. I think it's not a horrible pick anymore. It's like it's not Dowsers, which I know we saw Dowsers last set, but like, you can't make Dowsers that viable. Well, it gets to a point.
And speaking of a point, Remix gets down to 57 points in their push. They have been able to neutralize the zone once again. They've got the tri-strikes. That's going to be enough to push over it. And I think they just have the paint advantage. And that's really what you need on an Eeltail. Having this pen, Doolies obviously very standardly can paint. It's just... They have a good amount of paint, and I think that's why they've been able to hold on to the zone for so long. But you see the Dynamo trying to get that paint down, not going to work. So they do get out a penalty finally. Though I think that's being threatened here. There's a lot of paint going down, not going to be enough. They continue their tirade and their march towards that 0 mark.
Yeah, we've got this Prella is just making waves. A nice double. They had a pick from earlier, so it's going to be a very bad stagger for Nocturne here. Tact Cooler as well. I think Tact Cooler actually has ran out by now. But I mean, they can afford to play so aggressive. And honestly, there's not that many good options to burst down this Brella. I mean, if the Carbon is facing the Brella head on for Nocturne, they're not going to be able to do that much. And like I said, there it is. The Remix KO, because of that double from the Brella, is going to, you know, go ahead and open the door. As I was saying before the KO happened, though, I mean, there's not a lot that you can do against a Brella. Attack Cooler Brella, especially with that comp. I mean, you have a Dynamo, a Ballpoint, a Zimmy, and a Carbon. You've got to have at least one of them run Object Shredder if you want to have a chance.
Yeah, I think obviously going into this, they didn't know the comps they would be going up against. And I think that now that they know that this Brella knows ball, they might have to make some changes, really, because I think people would traditionally think, oh, you know, a roller, you can just slosh over the shield, but it's not that simple. Especially you saw them there just sharking and pop out of nowhere, get that double. They are going to Nocturne, that is, counterpick onto a more traditional zones Hagglefish. This, unfortunately for them, is a really good Brella map. The Brella, particularly with Jet. I feel like they can put down a lot of damage if you have a backline. They can, sitting on that tent area, the glass. They can just jet them as well. So maybe they just wanted to regulate things a little bit after this horrendous pick that was.
I mean, you
EOK.
can't kind of discount the comp strengths when it comes to Zone's Haggle for Nocturne. I mean, they have double Splatling Dynamo. At one point, do you just start sitting on glass and start painting?
Yeah, and it's a bit of a slow comp. Obviously, the other Splatling is Mini, which isn't so slow, but it does have like a predetermined downtime,
Mhm.
So I think having I'm gonna be curious to see if there are some changes. People
I
wanted
actually
their
wouldn't be
Dynamo.
so surprised if
Mhm.
we might see one of the Spotlings, if they do end up Spotling, go to Not. Just to kind of counteract that, like, the downtime that you were talking about there. I mean, we'll find out right here. Looks like a different mini. It is going to be Ballpoint Roller, so it's just going to be the Vimy out for Zimmy. Is that Glugas?
That is Glugas. So they do have the Booyah. Were they running a sticker stamper before? Perhaps I'm not remembering correctly, but like as you mentioned, they're going to have that vac and that hammer for a bit more immediate damage, I suppose, rather than that Zimmy. Right off the top, Remix once again takes this zone, and I think Neo's gonna go down there. And yeah, Nocturne, we saw them before. It's not as though it was a 100-0. They got down to, I think, 57 before they did just lose to Remix. So once again, they're getting their points on the board. They finally secure that pick from the flanking Dynamo, I think, at the side there. And yeah, they've been doing a really solid job so far, but we saw last time what happened when Remix was able to get that zone back, so we'll see if they're able to keep it.
Yeah, and the hammer only gets one before going down as well. Yashi goes down. Nice pick there from Silly. The Booyah's gonna come up. It looks like Remix is going to try and fight for the zone control, start fighting to push this game out of neutral, try to get something happen with advantage state. Yashi was tactical-ered, I believe, on the respawn, so it didn't do that much damage to knock him. But you can see that, oh, and a tactical and the vac come out, and nothing's gonna come out of either. The vac is gonna get canceled. Nice pick from Neo. Might be able to get a second, doesn't, but it's 2 down on both sides. But nobody's at the zone. Oh, okay, I lied. Silly's on near glass. I was about to be like, where's the paint at the zone? Yeah, but no. Now Silly's there to hold down the line, and the timer is now ticking down officially for Remix here, as the penalty has been surpassed. Yashi is going to go down again, crash here in a not very good position, is forced to use the stamp, is going to get canceled very quickly. The Dynamo is out of ink, forced to jump out. Yashi is again getting just absolutely brutalized by the Zipcaster. The pick isn't found, but Neo's might be able to find something here on the shark, on this lower left area. Isn't going to find anything, but I think the damage is done. I mean, he pulled fire away from the zone with 3 ticks left to go and only crash on the board. Remix is going to close this out very decisively with a nice 2-0.
Yeah, we saw for a bit there, Nocturne was able to kind of take the zone and keep it for a bit there, but I think ultimately, I have to point out, I think actually the pen should definitely be getting a lot of credit for how well they were able to do in this particular game. I think they were securing their picks, keeping the paint down when they were on glass, and when they moved up to that top left, it was just kind of over for Nocturne. They were just chipping people out, really helping it so that any teammates that may have needed some help had that chip available, and then also moved people out of position, so they were moving back. We saw, I think, the Stamper in Neo get a double on that ramp, and I think it's because those two people moved back seeing the pen, and they were caught holding hands and ultimately went down, despite the fact one of them, I think, was in vac, right? The ballpoint.
Yeah.
So I think pen it is a standard meta pick, though we've been seeing not so many pens in this ladder so far. But I think that really shows its power here.
Yeah, I think it was just Silly and then Sencon from Gaia. I think that's the only 2 we've seen on stream. But yeah, credit to the pen. I mean, and also holding when the 2 down for Remix and Nocturne was moving up. I mean, Silly just held it down. The anchor in the pen was being shown, and I mean, it's not really a true like backline like the regular charger or the liter is, but it did its job as the anchor. It held the paint down. Coolers were great for Remix. I mean, you see how aggressive Neo was able to play on that Stamper there. It was just honestly mind-boggling how kind of helpless Nocturne felt. I think Remix played that very well. Let's go ahead and get a div update, though. We see a lot more in Hall of Fame now. I think it's starting to coagulate very nice. And actually, it seems like the general median is kind of shifting toward pro rather than intermediate. Let's go ahead and get an update on our top speed ladder teams so far. We've got a couple teams 5-0 wild card there. You see Jared on that. I believe that is his LUTI team. That is correct. The mid-level LUTI team project he was trying to do.
I think so. Wild card. I think that's what I've heard their name to be, if I'm not mistaken. So no surprise there that, you know, they are that high with a 5-0 record currently in Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a couple like very standout names too. You see Caffey on that top team right now there. We see Noctis on Rabbit Hold, Pink Puffy Pastry on Free Samples. Yeah, Nightmare too. I mean, these are all basically like household names if you follow top level Splatoon.
Oh!
So it doesn't make too much.
Yeah, I think that likely might be it, that they're putting the ones that received a flawless. You know, these are set wins rather than game wins, so I think it's quite possibly that, you know, Trizuka Luga has lost more games than... I'm not the strongest at reading kanji. I see Tachi wa kono... I'm so sorry. I'm not going to try. I'm not going to look it up. Very apologies there. But I'll also bring attention to the fact that we have Luck Splatoon on Melt Ice. We love to see it, as well as I saw in that Hall of Fame at the very bottom, there was a team that has Senor Up B, who I personally have played with in low level, mind you, and subbed for my team, and actually helped my team, 3 of my teammates, along with them subbing, they were able to win Little Squid League over a year back. So Senor, I think, is a dread one trick on playing for delicious steak dinner, and clearly doing a really good job. Only 4-1 at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, on Meltice as well, I believe the cutoff name is Miyono Hime, a very formidable... Yeah, I believe very formidable Stamper player. Actually, didn't they change their weapon pool recently? I don't know. I don't follow competitive as closely as they used to, but now that I'm a retired uncle.
And you know what? Great time to retire, because Zone's Marlin.
Oh god.
Not trying to play that. So I think not crazy to retire now, but these players are in it. Hydra versus Squid Busters. They're the ones who are going to be subjected to Marlin Airport.
Yeah, we are going to go ahead and see, I believe, we saw the rosters a little bit earlier ago, but we have Nessa, Zoran, Taiji, and Cloyne on the side of Hydra, and then Ton Warrior, I believe that is Zasa, Midoi Elias, and I actually don't know who the last is. I believe it's Fan is Cool. I'd like to say it's Fan is Cool, on the side of Squidbusters.
Well, you know what? I'm glad they think Fan is cool, because they're going to have to deal with those fans on the court. You know,
oh, man.
I think a lot of people are a bit more high on this map than I certainly am. I've got no love in my heart for Marlin, especially as a Splatling player who's not usually on Nautilus. Having to drop your charge because your team accidentally made a wall that I have to climb up now is very irritating. But luckily for both of these teams, no one is running a Splatling, but I do have to bring attention to Nessa playing a weapon I have 5-starred, the Sea-Jet.
The Jet Scorcher with the Mist and Rain. It's very different from the Splatoon 2 counterpart, of course, with my beloved Stingray. But
You and only you, Yoshi.
Yeah. I might be a Splatoon 2 apologist. My bad. We are gonna go ahead and see 2 go down very quickly on the side of Hydra, but 2 did go down earlier on Squid Busters as well, so it's just gonna be a little bit of skirmish in mid. Mito versus Zor. Mito is gonna go ahead and come out on top, and we are gonna see our full zone cap. I mean, we saw Hydra get down to 80, but it was kind of in the mix of everything. So we're gonna go ahead and see specials come out, and I think now is where we're gonna start to see stuff slow down, and the retake is gonna have to come out from Hydra.
Yeah, that was like they were able to cap, but this, Yoshi, is a hold. Squid Busters going all the way down to the 50s so far, and a Kraken going to be popped here by Kaiji, looking to see what they can get, funneling everyone effectively to the left, but doesn't get the pick. That might spell death for themselves, and it does. They die on the enemy spinner. Even though those strikes come out, they don't really do much. They're just trying to sort of clean up what's left. And I think with that low penalty, Hydra might have been able to get something going, but it seems as though they're sort of struggling on their retake.
Yeah, I mean, this is basically the second set of strikes that has been popped in the last 20 seconds. I think the specials are very good here from Ton Warrior. The zone is in favor score-wise of Squid Busters. Hydra is going to kind of overextend for one, does get one pick, but I believe they were cooler, actually, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, they really just yellow Leroy Jenkins that one
For
a little
nothing.
bit. You know, sometimes cooler really emboldens people, but you see Boo, or rather, I think that's CH was that, but they're in the bottom corner. They kind of have to deal with whatever was going on over there. And in the meantime, 3 members of Hydra have gone down. So they had that initial sort of take of the zone, but since then, they haven't really been able to get their hands on it. This Kraken is going to push by itself, and I feel like the theming around what we've been seeing in these speed ladders are these members that are going in by themselves, taking these 1v1s, or in this case, it feels like we've been seeing 1v4s, and it just never ends well yet.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, Zalsa actually got out clean, got 2. He's gonna get a 3rd. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get the mini, but I mean, they got the tri-strike there from the teammate to bail him out. Fan is cool, is going to get the 2 to clean up the game, and that is game 1 to Squid Busters.
Yes, and I'd argue decisively so. Despite that opening hold, I guess you could say, it really felt like a game of keep away. There was practically nothing that they could do to get into that, not to get into mid, but to actually take the zone, because I feel like I saw a few fringe people dropping into mid to try and make something happen, and then they would just go down. You see this 1v1. In all fairness, I don't think there's anything that can really be done there. You have to fight. You cannot jump out at that point, but we just saw a few people, like, you're at this bottom right with your back against the wall. Just not a great position to be in when you're trying to retake.
Yeah, I mean, we can see in the instant replay, too. Like, Fan there with the Zipcaster, I think that's just what closed it out. I think Zaza's double right before that was very, very impactful. But, I mean, the stagger there was just so bad for Hydra. Taking back a look here at this mid-scrimmage between Zorn and Mito. Oh my days, oh, I guess it's already over. That's what I was talking about earlier, though. The tri-strike there to get Zaza out, and then allowed them to get another pick, give space for Fan is cool to get this double. That was very, very good special play by Ton there, and I think it was a very big catalyst on, you know, stopping that retake from Hydra in its tracks.
But you know what? I can't blame Hydra all that badly. I think Marlon is a very it's difficult to play. I feel like anytime I'm queuing up with my team or anything like that, people say, Sasu, what do you want to go? And I'm like, girl, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't know what it is that I need here, what's going to necessarily put me at an advantageous state. So we do have a counter pick to Robo Ramen zones, which is to be expected. I feel like the same thing happened before, Yoshi, with Eel Tail, where you have this really funky, I'd argue difficult to play map, and I feel like that counter pick is like, can we just do something normal? Like,
yeah, I think just return to normalcy is going to be nice for Hydra, especially since I don't know. I feel like they couldn't really find their footing that much too well on Marlin, and I think the mini there, the mini will help quite a bit more on Robo Ramen. I think it has a lot more opportunity to start painting the floor more.
yes, not to mention, I feel like there was also an issue with just knowing where to stand, where you should be. We saw some overextensions, and people just being maybe in positions that aren't the most advantageous. And I think that may be a symptom of just Marlin not being in the rotation of most tourneys, really, versus a Robo Ramen, which is legal in just about any tourney. So I think that this sort of issue of being where you shouldn't be, overextending or something like that, it's going to be probably a little bit harder to unravel Hydra's defenses or their offense when they're a bit more, I say familiar for the map, to the map. I obviously don't know Hydra's familiarity with Marlin, but I think we all just have so much gameplay on Robo Ramen that
I mean, yeah, it's a standard pick in map pools. Like, you're never really gonna see Zone's Marlin on like every single map pool, but Zone's Ramen is a very, very standard pick. So I think you have some merit to your words there for sure. We are gonna go ahead and see pretty standard comp come out from Squid Busters. Is that no? Okay, it is the Neo Splash. I couldn't tell. We are going to see a pretty standard actually for Hydra as well. I believe the shot is new, but I mean the comps are pretty similar, which makes sense because Robo Ramen, I mean both comps are promoted on this map versus Marlin where there's so many high ledges and such. With the spinner as well, it's just hard to figure out what you really should be doing. Nice Reef Slider kill there. It does take out Fan, but unfortunately is traded relatively quickly. It looks like Squid Busters are now back on the back foot here as Hydra. It seems they found their footing. They did get one out early as well after that Reef Slider. Will we see the stamp pop? Is the question. No, it's because they Zukas. Here's the stamp afterward. Try and clean up. And it doesn't look like Taiji is going to find anything, unfortunately. Here's the strike, so Taiji is going to get forced out as well as Nessa. And it looks like, there we go, Squid Busters is going to go ahead and cap the zone. It is immediately flipped. Trizuka comes out. There's just so much fighting right now. It's kind of hard to keep track of everything. Zoran is going to go down the... Oh! Actually, a lot of very good fights there from Squid Busters. Good situational awareness to kind of like take those fights in groups. Now they've got an opportunity to get a lockout here.
Yeah, I feel like there was a lot of fighting, but when the dust settled, obviously Squid Busters came out victorious. They are really well positioned to try and get this lockout, but one of the things is that we've seen so far that Hydra definitely more accustomed to this map and knows how to play it to their advantage. Now, Reef Slider used to be very popular here because it could just insta-cap the zone, and while it can't do that anymore, it can still force people out of an elbow position. You see, everyone who was caught flat-footed there, they go down to Zoran, and even that person on the bottom right who was in that scuffle and I believe went down, they had to go down there because they were forced out. So Zoran, really kind of the MVP here, using their hit to their advantage, and now the tables have turned and Hydra is trying to position themselves into place to see if they can get the lockout. But I think that I gotta give it to them. Even though they were moving up, they weren't overextending like we saw perhaps in that last game. They made sure to stay in zone, so now that Squid Busters has gotten out of their plat, they are still in a very good position with a very good hold on that zone.
Yeah, I mean, you saw the Reef Slider cycle from Zoran again. It was able to claim yet another victim. Fantasy Pool is going to go down very quickly. The Strikes aren't going to be able to do enough. There's fighting in the zones. If Cloyne goes down to the zone, it might be able to do some merit. There's the pick from Cloyne. The Carbon is going to get one, and the zone is teetering, and it's capped. Okay, Squid Busters is safe for 62 penalty ticks. Fantasy Pool is going to find yet another pick instantly traded out, though. So we've got, you know, the skirmishes are kind of coming to an end. The scramble for the zone is slowly slowing. Nice pick from Cloyne, though. On the tricycle, is going to find a second and a third as well. Ton School is the last person alive, and they are going to go down for the delayed wipe. Hydra right now in a very good position. They just got to knock out this penalty, and they can... We actually might be able to see Game 3.
Yes, we will see Squidbusters in a very difficult position. Of course, you have that rain coming out from the Sea-Jet. Just going to make things all the more harder as they slowly get chipped here in their own court area. But once again, very sort of reserved play from Hydra as they stay in mid. I think they know that these prize strikes are coming out, but unfortunately the Sea-Jet isn't able to paint well enough to counter those, so they're getting run down by that Stamper, which does get the pick on the Wiper that was just trying to take them out here. But 3 members down for Squidbusters, and that paint, that Rain ultimately coming out again. They are down to 27, and if they're able to hold here, which is going to be hard seeing as though there's an active zip and those tri-strikes, we will see, and ultimately they do lose the zone again, but there's 50 seconds left, and the penalty is not all that low. Squidbusters hasn't been able to get in a really strong hold here, it feels like, so 3 members down, they're going to be moving up. We wanted that Game 3, but...
Nice wipe.
I don't
nice
know.
Wipe. I mean, okay, it ain't over until you see the game banner across your screen. But right now, it's gonna be difficult for Hydra. I mean, they have no specials. As I said, the Zipcaster is online. The Zuka is online. Every special is online for Hydra. If the time is any time, it's now. But the Reef Slider is gonna get instant cancel. The strikes aren't gonna do anything. And the Rain is trying to hold the zone by itself, but it can't. Squidbusters, after being on the back foot for so long, get one nice hold, and they say sayonara to Game 3 and finish the set with a clean 2-0.
That's gotta hurt. Hydra were playing so well. We see exactly why it was that they counterpicked them to Robo Ramen. They were just being so strategic and strong there, but I think ultimately what happened is Boo on Team Squidbusters on the Carbon Roller. When it mattered most, you said so yourself, Yoshi, they had all of their specials online, and it can be super scary to have to go up against an active Zuka, and tri-strikes, I think, and like they had a lot of stuff, or rather not the tri-strikes, it was Hydra who had all of their specials. So they had the Zuka from the shot, they had the Reef Slider from the Dread Ringer, and I think a hammer. So unfortunately, Boo, I think, caught the shot and the Dread Ringer holding hands right before they were about to pop that Reef Slider and probably get a good amount of spacing, if not picks. You'll see it right here. They got this double here, and that's what sort of sealed the deal, because I think if that Reef Slider was able to come out, they would have been in mid and been able to put that paint down to steal the zone back.
I believe Boo is their team tag, actually. I believe that is Zaza on
Oh.
the Carbon, but you are correct.
Thank you.
Yeah, Zaza is huge too. They got the Zuka, they got the Dreadringer to cancel the Reef Slider basically instantly, and also the hammer went down to a couple straight bullets as well. All Hydra really had was the Rain at that 12-second tick mark. I mean, the idea was there. You get all of your specials, and then you just make a mad rush. There's 20 seconds left on the timer. If you can find just a couple of picks with your specials, get the zone to where it cannot be recapped easily for Squidbusters and get the penalty, then you can just slow down the pace, bring it to overtime if you have to, and try to secure the Game 3. But Zaza was having none of it.
Yeah, honestly, just retake on Robo Ramen for some reason just feels so bad sometimes. Robo Ramen, I think, has a lot of movability. You have that bottom left. There's a lot of like flanks and stuff like that, but realistically speaking, you're gonna want to move forward, get through that elbow section, and go into main. That's like the most viable thing, because you're on low ground if you drop bottom left. You're basically nowhere in no man's land if you somehow just try to drop on that bottom right, unless you're something like a Brush it's just not happening. So I think they really took advantage of how difficult that retake was, and we're able to fend them off. But we have our numbers for the current tiers: 13 players up from 9 in Hall of Fame. And we've seen that middle section kind of start to thin out. I think before we saw 20 players in Prospect, still in the 20s for Intermediate, but clearly as more games are played, these players are being sorted a bit more accurately due to their set records.
Yeah, for sure. And I wonder if production we can get a leaderboard update for those Hall of Fame players. As we wait for that, though, I believe we do have our next match coming up here. Boom versus, oh, that's the team we saw on the leaderboard earlier. There's Free Samples, Pinky Puffy Pastry, Captain Roll, Monogray Crew, Yuri Reyes Rodriguez, what a name, and Brock.com against Coral, Tan, Captain, Haiku, Tufa, 49er, and Kara.
Yes, that was one of the teams we saw there. I think we're currently in Challenger, if I'm not mistaken. We're taking a look at Hall of Fame as well before we jump into that Challenger match. You see,
no, this is Hall of Fame.
Yeah, we switched over to Hall of Fame. I think before what we were looking at, if I'm not mistaken, was
I'm talking about the match. The match is Hall of Fame. Free Samples was playing Hall of Fame. We saw them on the leaderboard just earlier. And you can see them right there, yeah, as well. Free Samples.
I think they are... I think who they've been matched with, perhaps.
It might be... Yeah, you're right. There's Boom in Challenger. So it is a multi-div match.
If anything.
But I mean, the rosters... I mean, the rosters are both very strong. And the set record's very close as well. It's 3-1 on the side of Boom versus 4-2 on the side of Free Samples. So, I mean, this match should be exciting.
Yes, we'll see if it is close enough that we get that that fabled game 3. It is going to be... Listen, these silly maps...
Oh, God.
Mincemeat Zones is the random pick for the first stage, and... the mode will always be zones off the top, but you know, I think when you're at a certain level, you're so used to these scuffed zones maps because you play a lot of zones only. So as much as I will complain about it, perhaps this is just sort of
yeah, no, I have a fair experience on this map too. I mean, it's not the most competitive map in the world. I mean, it's obviously not like a zones Mako, but it's not the worst map in terms of like zones only or zones random. And I think these two teams have the level to kind of not really hyper focus on how they want to play the map and just how they want to play the comp. Versus, we do see double Splatana coming out on the side of Free Samples, Crew and Pastry on the Viper and Decaf respectively, as well as the V-Dualies on the side of Free Samples. And we've got, I believe that is, yeah, S-Blast, V-Brush, Pen, and another pro. It isn't Forge, unfortunately, but...
You know, I'll take the Frozen, because I think it's Frozen kind of Trojan horsed pro into the conversation, but 3 members are down for Free Samples,
what a pick.
who are also not running a back line as well, so we'll see if that works out for them. So far it's not. They have all of this attack power and nowhere really to put it, because walking on the other team seems like it's very difficult, and you see it just like that. The Pen gets that pick, stops that hammer right in its tracks, but you know, just like that, the game state has changed, and it is going to be Free Samples who has the man advantage and the zone.
Yeah, but I honestly don't think for long. I mean, I might be lying. There is a little bit of a stagger happening right now on Boom, but I mean, Free Samples, they don't have too much control at the end of the day. What they have to do is kind of bomb, try not to get picked out. Nice pick from Pastry. Is unfortunately getting called out by 49er on the brush here. The Zipcaster should be online after this bomb explodes. There it is. But it's going to be more so different of whether or not 49er will be able to capitalize with the Zipcaster. 2 ticks left to go until the lead flip. Sorry, 3. But it isn't going to be enough. Boom does keep the lead. And that's actually close. It's just doing this time.
Yeah, that was definitely spooky. Definitely not what you want to be recalled to. But 49er doing what brushes do and just running amok and havoc, trying to run wherever they will be allowed to stand, essentially. And once again, you have the pen set up in mid. They do dodge that hammer that was certainly meant for them. Reposition on that top left, and 2 members are down there for free samples. So Boom has already started to re-widen their lead here all the way down to 15, and it feels like now we are in an issue of a bit of a stagger. People are going down one by one, and there's no time for free samples to reset, so that's just going to be the game here for Boom, putting them immediately at match point.
Yeah, that is very, very strong mid-game from Boom. I think the play calling there from whoever their IGL is, or even if they have an IGL, they might just have all 4 contributing input. I think the mid-rounding there from Boom, or I guess not mid-rounding because Splatoon doesn't really have rounds, but you know what I mean. The mid-game there from Boom, very, very strong, especially at 49ers, you said, running amok, causing havoc, and the stagger was so, like, incredibly staggered, to put it in not better words. You're right, free samples just couldn't reset, and I think right now they're just trying to recover from the shell shock that is seeing Splat Zone's midsmeet on your screen. I think we're gonna see something a little more regular here from free samples on this counter pick.
That has been what we've been seeing. You see Pastry going down to 49er there, who just did a really good job of cleaning things up. I think they were also hanging out on that bottom right for there. You'll see here Pastry once again dropping that bottom left, goes down to 49er yet again, and that's just because there's no escape from 49er on that brush. Like, they will find you, and they will get you down there. So I wouldn't be surprised if... Oh, wow!
Interesting.
I am surprised. That is going to be a Manta Maria Clams game. I think this is the first time we are seeing Clams on our screen. Wow.
This is we've only seen Tower and Zones so far. This is the first time we have Clams on stream, and Manta Maria to be that too. This is the first Manta pick. I'm very curious what Free Samples is thinking here, because I mean they have Double Viper. That doesn't really promote that well on Manta Maria.
They're up against a brush as well.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I feel like this brush is gonna be able to run circles around them, quite figuratively and literally. But I don't know. Maybe there's some secret third option, secret adaptation, where Free Samples is gonna pull out, because right now I don't see the vision.
Yeah, Free Samples. You know what? This might be a counter pick to that pen. Manta Maria is not a good pen map. Most pen players will... I mean, some people are really stubborn and they'll stay on it, but this is a better Splatling map than it is a pen map. So they might say, listen, it'll make it... You can still kind of thug out pen, still try and make it work in something like a zone. So in a in a Clams game, you kind of have to be watching a lot more places. It's a bit more skirmishy of a mode, so they are ultimately going to stick with that pen, but I think it's going to be a lot easier to catch them out of position and to make plays without the pen just chipping you out here.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, the pen shout is good, but you have to kind of associate risk versus reward. They still have a brush on Manta Maria of all maps, and the comp wasn't changed at all, so I don't know if I see the vision, but what I will want to see is hopefully the gameplay. We are going to go ahead and see the clam economy right now for Free Samples is great. It is kind of attached to 2 people and 2 people only, but, you know, the Zap isn't really trying to fight that much, and Pastry on that decav is going to hopefully be able to just kind of sit back and swing. Unfortunately, 2 go down on the side of Boom. Now a third as well, that pen. As you say, I think they believe got called out in position. The 49ers is going to jump right back in to call it a delayed wipe. This might be big for Free Samples. There's the clam ball in the basket. A couple straggle clams, hopefully from Gray here to push it past 1 clam. There we go. Maybe 1 more here from Crew. Unfortunately, no. They do go down. But First Blood is drawn by... Ooh, another clam, actually. First Blood is drawn by Free Samples.
Yes, but they only got it down to 68 before their push was effectually shut down, which, as you know, you always want to make it to 60 to make giving the other team a power clam, a pity clam rather, worth it. And they didn't hit that number, so now they still have a lot of their work cut out for them, because I think with something like that brush, not going to be impossible to just be under that basket, get in their initial one, and then have somebody else just toss that second ball in. So right now we're at a bit of a stalemate. Both of these teams are in mid. I think Free Samples making their way back in, get the appropriate picks that they need, and now I was going to say Boom on the back foot, but like you said, oh no, 3 of their members go down, and that is going to be a score for them for sure.
Nice. That was a huge 3 by Boom. I don't even know who did it. I couldn't see, but that was genuinely awe-dropping. Oh, but as I say that, though, immediately 3 go down on the side of Boom to stop the push. Nice recovery by Free Samples. The Pity Clan is down for them as well, and Boom also need additionally another mini clam on top of that power clam to flip the lead.
Wow. Yeah, it's so funny because you see these teams in their advantage states, and yet they're not able to get as much done as you would think. Even Free Samples, when they made that initial push, I was thinking that they'd be able to probably breeze past 60, past the 60 point, and they weren't. And then you see Boom, they had so many people down on Free Samples, and Free Samples just retook so well that they only got in that initial ball. But back and forth, lots of trades, a very wise jump out to just get out of dodge, keep that ball online. Meanwhile, everyone is just sort of running everywhere. Brock, I think, is making a pass and does get the basket open. I don't know if they're going to be able to get anything subsequent in there, so they might have just given the other team a free power clam, but still, sometimes you stake your claim and it goes up right before they throw it up. I think they would have been too far anyways, unfortunately.
Luckily for Free Samples, though, Boom actually didn't grab their first pity clam, so the pity clam did unfortunately pop. So it's not too bad of a play for Free Samples. I mean, the score is also late. Now it's 2 mini clams plus, 3 mini clams to flip the lead, plus the power clam. As I say that, though, 49er has won. Power clam does go down. Power clam is probably going to be scored here, and I think that's the pity clam jumping in for the lead flip.
Could have been a 3 if they were able to save that as well. Yeah. And we are under a minute left, though. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. But you got down to 44. That is worth it in and of itself. And plus, you have the pen just sitting there in mid, so they've got the jumps for their teammates to come right back. And our first concern when we saw Manta Maria clams was the fact that the other team had, they're able to bubble, but they're a little bit out. Do they get it in? They do, but that is just going to be the barrier open. Of course, they shred that bubble, and it feels like right now, with time ticking the way it is, they've just been resorting to just small things and distractions because they know that they are truly on the back foot right now.
The issue for Free Samples here is that pity clam does not win them the game. For people that are unfamiliar with Clam Blitz, if you tie on Clam Blitz, the second person to reach the score actually gets the score bumped up by 1. Meaning Boom has all of the advantage right now. The timer is ticking. There's a jump here for Brock.
Oh my gosh!
But I don't know if the clam is gonna be taken. Brock is now gonna have to fight.
Wait.
Here's the fight. There's the jump. But Brock is down. The clam needs to go in. Gray isn't able to find it, but they got it. Free Samples got the clam. We're going to game 3.
Yoshi!
We're going to game 3!
I thought the basket might close before, and for those of you who are very luckily never been in this situation, OT is extended by when the basket breaks open, not when you hit the basket. And as you know, there's a little bit of time in between the clam hitting the basket and it actually giving you the notification that it's open. So I thought that OT overtime might just end while it was in the animation of opening that basket, but it was clutch. It did indeed open, and all of their teams, what a squad up, were able to get under that basket, throw in those clams, and just barely eke out the lead. You see the initial push here that got them down to 80 out of Boom, and this is just sort of the Hail Mary that happened, I think, with that bubble that didn't really get much done, unfortunately. Yes, and Gray goes down there during this section.
mean, we kind of have to take, like, did the bubble not get much done? Because, I mean, it put free samples down to 54, and ultimately, that's the only reason why they were able to clutch up the game. It was just one power clam, and then one stray clam from, I don't even know who it was. Actually, I hope we get to see it in the replay here. You see Brock, he's sitting here for so long. 49er is going to call him out. He's able to not find the pick, but he gets the jump in. And I think it's Ku actually able to grab that little clam on the side, hanging off the ledge, almost off the map, to throw it in while Gray kind of distracts with the skirmish there.
And it was crazy because, like, the watchful eye of 49er. 49er noticed that they were there somehow and was like, and they immediately got out of position. 49er gets the pick, but the jump had already been registered in. And you know the only way to stop a jump in is strikes. That is the only thing fast enough to destroy a jump in. Of course, they didn't have that. So here, once again, are the rosters for free samples versus Boom. And as much as we've been saying, oh, people usually counterpick to something that's a little bit normal on the zone side, we took a bit of a detour, but we are back with Hacklefish zones, it seems.
Yeah, it's a zones we go back. Actually, I mean, tower control. Tower control?
Did I misread it?
No. Did we
I was like,
misread
maybe. Yeah, it is going to be tower. I think we have seen tower haggle
yes, we
so
have.
far. Not so weird. Like, not my favorite, but I'm not the one who has to play it. We see no difference from these teams in terms of what they're running, but excited to see how this shakes out.
I mean, tower control ultimately does make more sense for Boom, though. They have the pen to just sit on the tower. As I say that, though, they go 2 down. The missiles is going to call out Pastry. They do get 1 early to start. Haiku isn't going to go down to the slash, though. The stamp isn't going to catch out anybody. And Boom right now just having a nice little reset here. Trying to keep free samples at bay. Pastry does go down for a second time. No cooler this time. And 2 go down on the side of free samples. You see Brock.com is getting picked out. No, they are able to stay alive. Their health is back, and Tufa does go down early on that S-Blast, but the tower is moving on the side of Boom. Whether or not they get the checkpoint is up to free samples, and it doesn't look like it. Pastry does go down. Miner isn't able, or sorry, 49er, sorry, is not able to ride the tower. Instead of opting to pop the Zipcaster, try to get some disruption there. Actually, the missiles might claim a victim. They do in Gray.
Yes, the tower was sort of moving and schmoving, but I think that free samples really vicious. If it feels like this game, 2 of their members have gone down. It is just the Zap that's alive into a delayed wipe ultimately, which is exactly what you want when you're at that first checkpoint. Bottom right is one of the hardest checkpoints to clear, of course, and so with everybody offline, that is going to be way easier for you to clear. But right now, they're taking that top left. They're trying to bomb out that tower. A crab comes out, but it gets booyah bombed. And this is just a bloodbath, Yoshi.
Oh my God.
So much back and forth as people go down on both teams. But I think the 2 members down, ultimate, look at this! Look at the UI! People are just going down left and right. And the tower is stalled as a result of it.
I mean, the tower's stalled, yeah, but in all of the chaos, I don't think Free Samples has seemed to know that Boom did get that second checkpoint, which is easily the if not the hardest, the second hardest, because not a bottom right checkpoint. A wipeout there as well for Boom. This is what I'm talking about. The pen puts so much pressure on the enemy team just riding this tower. Yeah, see, Gray goes down. The goalies aren't able to do anything. The missiles are out. 3 down on Free Samples. There's the wipe. 16 ticks. The missiles are not ready. They just got popped. Cooler's ready. It's just GG Booyah.
Yeah,
there's nothing they can do. A great counterpick from Boom. And there it is. A nice 2-1 victory for Boom. And I think actually this should, because now Boom is 4-1. And, actually I don't know, because Free Samples did get that game win. Boom might be promoted to Hall of Fame off of that.
I think they might. I know that there's a star system And I think that the star system may work off sets and not games, but then it ranks you within the sort of tier depending on your
Yeah.
games. So I think that this should be enough for them to make their way into Hall of Fame. I didn't have my eyes on where free samples were, so for all we know, that could no. I think
They were to the bottom of Hall of Fame, but I don't think that was because they got that game win. I actually don't know if it was enough. It's enough to knock them out because they were toward the bottom, but I don't think they were at rock bottom of Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Either way, I think that really good wins for Boom. Like you said, a really strong counter pick. Clearly, it was in their pocket. Having that pencil, they used it to their advantage. Really good counter pick as well from free samples. I think they were clearly able to put that into their back pocket as well. So even though they come out of here with a loss, they do have that game to their name. And we got to see a game 3.
Yes. Oh, it doesn't actually look. Oh yeah, there it is. Boom. They are now actually on number 2 on the Hall of Fame. I don't remember if this is ranked or not according to like actual ranking, but we see free samples do hang on to Hall of Fame, but Boom have claimed their Hall of Fame title, as well as there's a couple new names actually. Oh, the start.gg UI jump scare. Macazera, Appreciation Collective, Clown Ensemble, which we saw earlier, are all new. I'm not even gonna try that top name. No, thank you. But all of them have entered the Hall of Fame. And actually, yeah, we do see here. Oh, this isn't the top. Okay, thank you, production. Free samples is just barely hanging on to Hall of Fame, and I mean they're basically almost even on game differential, so it's gonna be close. If they lose that next set, I don't think they have it. If we can we get a perfect this, and then the top of Hall of Fame would be great. Oh, Mia acing Mondi and Resonance there, just shy of Hall of Fame. And actually, oh, there's Squidbusters. We saw them earlier too. All of these teams are very, very strong. They've been putting up quite a fight, and actually, I don't think the star system is quite only set-based win, because you see the Aura Busters there were 4-3, which was exactly like our friends at Free Pastries. Going ahead and taking a look at the top here, our three, the three Musketeers of the top of Hall of Fame are still up there, as well as Trizuka Luka. They have lost their first set. Let's Just Steak Dinner as well as the Japanese team that I can't be bothered to read either. I can't lie.
Right.
But we do see a couple new names. There's Tidal Disruption with Range Blaster, and then Liberation, Waffle Z Navy, Spleef, SMNR. So a couple new faces coming out here. We are going to go ahead and head to a speed ladder break here as we get into our last set of the day. We got a little bit of a div update, and actually, intermediate, it seems to be the median, but we've got a pretty strong fight for the upper 3 divs. We are going to go ahead and head to a break, though, but it will be a speedy one, so don't go anywhere.
Earlier in 2025, we brought to you one of the most enticing and innovative tournaments. A unique championship where the winners of 8 Splatoon lanes face off to see who and which region would take home the crown.
LCS champions.
I say we do it again. Today we are announcing the Splatoon 3 LAN Championship Showdown 2026. The 8 lanes who represented this tournament are back at it, featuring Big Dapple in New York City,
Oh my God!
Chai Shoals in Chicago, Illinois,
Away and only the blaster up.
Sea Battle in Seattle, Washington,
Clams of their own at that. Look at that lead switch.
H-Town Splashdown in Houston, Texas,
Is out. We are seeing specials fly.
Sunset Surge in Tempe, Arizona,
And people are jumping in rice. I think this might be a knockout.
New England in Boston, Massachusetts,
Take space all over the place.
Booyah Bay in San Jose, California,
Whether they're going to be able to get this ball in the basket is...
and defending champions Gatorland in Gainesville, Florida.
In this hammer, unfortunately, gets picked.
8 amazing lanes crowning the best of the best. But why stop there? This year, We want to bring more excitement, more drama, and more champions. We will be expanding from 8 teams to 12 teams. Which lands will be joining us for the first time, you may ask? A land staple that has been dominating the Southwest, SoCal, in Irvine, California. An up-and-coming land with tons of excitement, Anarchy Nova in Ashburn, Virginia.
A land that has been in the works for a while and has gotten plenty of traction online. Don't Flounder at the Function, Cary, North Carolina.
And a land north of the border with a strong community presence, Toronto-Roca in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. These 12 lands will crown champions between January and early April 2026, with the 12 winners having the opportunity to face off in an online tournament on Sunday, April 26, 2026. Which region will come out on top?
Welcome back, everybody, to the Inkademy Speed Ladder. We've got a banger matchup for you for, I believe this is the last of the day. Before we get started, my name, of course, is Yoshi, Chris Owe, and I'm joined in the booth by Sasu.
Hello, everybody. I hope you're ready to get back into Speed Ladder. We've been going so speedy. It feels like, Yoshi, it's just been like game after game after game. I was like a little bit worried. I'm like, should we be casting Speed Ladder? Like, we don't want to hold them up. And I would argue we haven't been. We've been going at
like all of the sets that we've played, minus that last set between Boom and Free Samples, have been very, very swift 2-0s.
Yes, and we're like, well, that happened, I guess. Wait, oh, I'm showing my millennial on stream. Anyways, we are going to be doing WIP in progress versus Star Shower Redux. I gotta give it up for the redundancy for work in progress.
What do you mean work in progress, bro?
Yeah, it's like RIP in pieces. Like,
exactly.
It's camp.
We've got, Jack, Quag, Riley, and Dragon Knight on Work in Progress, and Star Shower Redux, Pixel Sage, Luna, Rost, and Eden.
Eden.splat, and we're starting off on Humpback Zones. Now, a little bit less common, but I think a lot of people... It's a little bit less common than other things like a Hagglefish, a Mako, but certainly does get play. I feel like a lot of teams like know what they're gonna run here as well. And I'm gonna be excited to see how it just ends up happening here, because I tend to like Tri-Slosher here. Very doubtful we're gonna see any of that, and we don't from either of those teams. But once again, we're seeing a double roller comp. Is there something I'm missing here, Yoshi?
I mean, Dynamo is just very strong right now in the zones meta because of the paint buffs it received. And Carbon is just one of those weapons where if you know how to play Carbon, you're gonna want to play Carbon with a comp with heavy paint. And that's what Dynamo provides. So realistically, their synergy is actually very, very good, especially with his bow as well. The Carbon synergy is very nice. On the side of Star Shower Redux, we've got Not Brush, Julius, and our beloved Forge Pro. Yippee.
Everybody cheered. We're all happy to see the Forge Pro, especially because they're still up. 2 members are going to go down, make that a total of 3. And the Brush, once again, we've been seeing some stellar Brush gameplay here today. This time it's coming out of Chris on the Ink Brush, going to let out those whales, put some absolute havoc in that spawn. All the while, the numbers just keep on ticking. I think they get some chip here. They're going to ambush this person who's trying to, I think that's the Carbon, letting off the Zuka. And I've just been in this entire time I've been talking, a 100-0.
What an Oko. Oh my god.
Yeah. Listen, we were talking about, oh, it's so fast. This is Speed Ladder.
Yeah, then we're just yapping here, and then they just got a speed KO, man.
Like nothing. Really strong work from all of the team, just keeping them, just scattering them, really. And the farther we get into this, the closer the game should get, in theory. So the fact that they were able to just do so well here, I have to wonder if WIP in progress just kind of struggled due to the map mode. Hard to believe, because Bo and Dynamo in particular are very strong here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know though. I guess like the disruption plays from Chris and the duelies especially as well, and the Not. I mean, this is a comp that just wants to fight, and they were winning all of those fights. So it just kind of swung into the favor.
Yeah, and we already have the counter pick ready.
Oh, wow. It's
gonna be yet another Haggle Tower, and I'm trying to think, what is it about Haggle Tower that is making WIP in progress think that this is going to be the one that gives them the win?
Dynamo? Or Bo, honestly, either or. This map isn't horrible for Carbon either. It might just be, like, realistically, we've been, like, over-analyzing these counter picks and, like, how they want to play it with the comps. It might just be a comfort pick for them. Like that is very much reality, and I think this late in the tournament for now, I mean, it's only been 3 hours, so the fatigue shouldn't be set in like that. I mean, compared to NA League, which shares this format, NA League 8 hours versus 3, it's not too bad. But I guess with the amount of matches played, you kind of have to start considering, especially for the last set of the day, for all of these teams, maybe one more if they're daring. Fatigue might be setting in, so I think the comfortability of like what they know, what they've practiced, what they have protocols on, maybe that's just why they want to force the tower control game.
Well, in NA League's defense, it's only 8 hours for the people who are at top 8. So they can eat shorts, but everybody else, it's going to be just those 3 hours, and it will be that for these two teams. We have quite a shakeup, I think, on WIP in progress. Like, I think almost every single person has switched onto another weapon. We saw those double rollers. They're both gone. Instead, we're looking at a Dreadringer Crab, specifically heavy, not something you see all that often in Custom Blaster. Of course, it's gotten those buffs. It's been played a little bit more in comp lately, and that sticker stamper so that they have that GG Booyah to cap it all off. But ultimately, 2 gonna go down on either side. I think that tower resetting back into mid. But that heavy, watching the tower, making sure to mow down anyone who dares step on it, really paying back in dividends for them right now.
Yeah, work in progress here is just trying to find anything that they can. No way Chris gets away from this unscathed. Oh my days. What a pick from Chris, able to get out for free. And this is just going to allow Star Shower Redux to get this checkpoint for free, I think. Yeah, there's a check.
Yeah, golly, and that is the check that should be the less free. Chris going to get out of dodge, surprisingly not even bother to jump out, just runs it and resets into mid. So they're going to throw down that point sensor to see if they can locate Chris, no doubt. And Jack going to be killed in that splashdown, maybe splashdowning their demons, because I don't think I saw anybody there, unfortunately. But I think WIP in progress is trying to just zone out and see what they can do before they take that tower back, but not coming easy to them.
I mean, literally 3 out of 4 specials have come out for WIP in progress, and the map state is exactly the same. This is not what I would want to be seeing as a WIP player. Finally, something does go in their favor. The WIP progress finally have the man advantage. The Crab is now out from WIP in progress as well. They are going to need to see another pick, though, if they want to start pushing Jack with the splashdown. Oh dear, Chris with the flank, though. Oh dear, Chris with the flank. Goodbye, Quag, potentially. Don't get the pig. Dragonite goes down. Quag does not.
Yeah, that is going to be a double due to that flank. I think that's the second time we're seeing that on stream. Oh, rather, it was a triple, I think, with that decaf. But
oh, yeah, with Waffle.
Yeah, and you see that Rush is going to ultimately claim the flank for themselves. Quag just backing up. We're hopefully they have learned their lesson and they will be backed up enough that they can see that left flank, and they do exactly that, trying to just make sure that their team can move forward. But it seems like, remember when you were talking about the specials and the fact that they had man advantage, they haven't been able to make anything happen with that. I don't know if it's because they just feel really threatened by the weapons that they're coming up against, but it just seems like they don't have the comfortability to walk on them and just take the tower and feel assured that they're going to get that Nautilus and that Forge down.
I personally think they just don't know their win condition, and that seems really odd to say. From an outsider perspective, obviously the win condition is the tower control, right? Not necessarily. Sometimes you need to be focusing on stuff other than just moving the tower in order to get the match moving, and I think right now, work in progress just don't really know what to do. And especially with that wipeout, with 2 pushing the tower and then 2 pushing up, I don't think they're coordinated. I don't think the play calling is happening right here in terms of work in progress on progress. And Star Shower Redux is just going to do everything they can to just keep capitalizing on these mistakes.
I totally see that. I think that's also not crazy, because I'd argue part of their win con is just getting that brush down. without that guy just running around, flanking them, cleaning up those picks, I think that puts them in a really great position. But it's like they've got 3 other people on the team who are focusing on them, and that's really giving them a hard time. Now, finally, I think they make it to the point seemingly of no return, but WIP in progress finally just squad up. Oh my gosh, we have a flank there from Ross.
Okay, it's taken care of.
Down. Yeah, nobody was able to jump into there because you would think out of anybody, a Brush would perhaps say, oh, I'm getting in there, but Chris has the restraint not to do so. So finally, it seems as though Star Shower Redux is going to be the team that's on the back foot, but perhaps not for long because you see
that's
3 of those members have gone down, yeah.
There's Clag as well, there's the jump, and yeah, that's wraps. Oh, wait, Dragon? Nope. Dragon Knight is dead. The jump isn't going to come in time. Star Shower Redux 2, I believe, was what our last set of the day. I want to say maybe we do one more, maybe we don't, considering how speedy that was. But Star Shower Redux is going to get a nice 2-0.
Yes, I think, yeah, very, very fast. We will be doing one more. Time is not up yet. I'm sure, I mean, if you're within the ladder, you're going to be like, guys, it's 350, one more.
Yeah.
One more. Maybe we win this. Maybe this is what pushes us up into champion. You know, this is going to be the one. So I totally get it, especially, let's say you just went down. Maybe you're a WIP in progress and you've lost 2-0. You're like, we got to get this 2-0 to make sure it doesn't mess with our numbers too bad. And you see the carpal tunnel pushing there out of the ink brush, just making sure that everyone goes down, because the last thing you need is you take a little break and then one of them gets you down and then somehow they continue to push from there. So really good discipline there. You can take a look at the left to see the spread we have going on, and Hall of Fame has more people in it than Challenger.
What the heck? That is very interesting, actually. I don't think I've seen that before in the speed ladders that I've participated in, at least.
Mind you.
Well, yeah, that tends to happen. Usually the prospect, most of the prospect players that like started in prospect usually fizzle toward intermediate, and I think that's what we've been seeing. You can see the median player will be in intermediate with that 25 player gap compared to literally everything else. What I have not seen, though, is Hall of Fame being higher than Challenger. We are going to go ahead and get a leaderboard update. Production, thank you. Love you guys. We do see a new contender for number 1. It's that team I was talking about earlier in Challenger. The Mia Acing, Mondi, and Resonance squad have made their stake to number 1. Looks like all of these teams we have seen in Hall of Fame. There's our friends, Boom and Clown Ensemble as well. Free Samples has actually managed to stay in Hall of Fame despite going 4-4 and having a basically exact match record. It actually might be just if you get 4 wins, you get promoted to Hall of Fame. Oh, no, I lied. There's the Orship with 4 wins. Go figure.
Yeah.
We do see a couple teams actually have demoted. Blue Lock and Octaves are in Pro versus their Peak and Challenger there now. Rainfall as well, a new Challenger contender. We have a couple here. There are our friends Event, Horizon, and Remix, as well as Hydra. So a lot of teams that we've actually seen on stream here are kind of toward this higher Pro. They're higher than the medium. There's Full Combo as well. And Gaia, actually. Whoa! I did not expect to see Gaia this low. Oh, man.
Let's... Perhaps they... Oh, they're currently in intermediate. Oh, yes. This is because they've gone 2 and 3. Their peak is Pro 3. I think that sometimes another thing we have to take into consideration is just fatigue.
Yeah.
I think when you're playing for so long, sometimes you peter out at the end, and then as you're... It's I think of it like tilt queuing, because you literally have to queue in. Sometimes it's like, well, we lost that last game 0-2. We have to queue in again so that we can fix our score, but then you're still tired. And then it doesn't end well. So you have to kind of like bide, you know, your time. And the other thing is it doesn't show us what those sets are. they might be 2-1s, 1-2s,
Yeah, that's true.
and very close. And then on top of that, what breaks did you take? Did you have
Exactly,
a
yeah.
friend who was having Wi-Fi issues on your team, and you had to like wait a while they fixed that? And that's like time you're losing, so you don't necessarily get the games in, because we saw like a team like Gaia, I think, had 5 games in versus Jared, and I think the other teams at the top, they were 7-0, so they were able to get in more games, which also suggests that they might have had closer games where they went to game 3s, which is very unfortunate. I know, I feel like if I go to a game 3, I'm mad, like regardless of if we take the set or not. I'm like, ugh, I wish I'd just gotten out of this a little bit quicker, because the more games, just the more info there is for that LUTI seeding.
Exactly, and not only just that, it's the less time you have to potentially queue another set. We were talking about this earlier. You know, you get done with a set at 255, you try to queue again at 259. If you go to enough game 3s, you're just never ever going to have the opportunity to get that last queue in. And for an event like this, every single match matters.
Every single match, every single minute. And like we were talking about before, like that plays into sometimes the pressure, and I think sometimes you might be so desperate to finish a game quickly, or even if you're losing, you're like, I want to win this game, but I also want it to like finish. You know what I mean? If we can take the rest of the set, maybe if this isn't really our map mode, should we just let them KO and then get the 2-1? These are things that you might have to take about, because you're like, maybe we just finish this game because we're not gonna win it anyways, and then GG go next and see if we can just like turn things around and take the set, because ultimately we're trapped in this set until it's done, and we want to have more games. So there's a lot of strategy and a lot of pressure on you that as you're fighting back, you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm burning all this time, and we can't afford to burn time here in Speed Ladder.
Speaking of burning time, there are only 4 minutes left to get a queue in. And also, it's not guaranteed that you find a match when you queue, because remember, you also have to find an opponent. So a like-minded individual who wants the queue last minute needs to match up with you. It looks like we do have our last set of the day. We are seeing a return of our friends at Utility Pale versus Overtime, which is not the Overtime that you were thinking of, unfortunately.
Oh. Didn't Overtime disband?
Yeah, the Overtime that we all know and love did disband.
Wait, that laugh was not about them disbanding. It was me being like, wait. I was like, wait, is Overtime like active? Like, I thought my brain was off, but like you mentioned,
no. The Overtime we know and love is gone.
And it had several exclamation marks as well. This one has a star.
To replace them, we have Bean, Nick Oh No, and then Nico Udria. That's not going to get confusing at all. Blueberry, and then on Utility Pale, because I can't read kanji, unfortunately. Utility Pale, Land Evo, Cobalt, okay. Land Evo, Cobalt, Puff Starbits, and Scooty, of course, from our friends at Utility Pale. Welcome back to the stream. Let's see if you can get a win this time.
Yes, especially in these last seconds. I know they're going to be hustling. We are trying to get them into the room ASAP so they can get their stuff done. We do not want to be the reasons why they're held up, but definitely probably going to be a closer game. We'll see if they end up going to that game 3. Well, ultimately they've been queued in, so it's fine.
Yeah, like they have this match. It's confirmed unless something royally goes wrong and we have to cancel the match.
So they're good to go, but like I am looking forward to, I think everyone is in the room now. Yes, I'm seeing Satoru, Blueberry, and all of those people. Nico Oh No. You know, it's always interesting to me that there's like I feel like these days when I see rosters, there'll be 2 people with like the same name. Is that just are people just being mean to the commentators? Like, why is that happening? I feel like I'm seeing that so often these days.
It could have been a mistake, actually, from... Because, like, whenever we receive rosters, we just grabbed them straight from start.gg. Nick Oh No could actually just be named, like in real life, Nico Udria. And it could just be a 4-person roster too. That's something we haven't really considered.
Oh, bum. I'm so sorry, these teams. Can you imagine you queue in at 350 and you get Eel Tail Zones as your first game?
Yikes.
You've been punished for your hubris, Utility Pale in overtime.
Unfortunately. But I mean, you know, you've got a little bit more Splatoon to play, so you can't let it phase you.
Yes, you have to lock in. This is do or die. Everyone getting in their last queues now. It is 3:59. This is your last opportunity to get this last game in, so this will be the final game for Utility Pale in overtime. And you know, perhaps they're mentally like, let's just see if we can get through this. I know I'm not staking my win on this. I might be like, all right, I'm totally fine with the game 3 because this is a really tough thing to play if you don't have a leader on your team. But the last time we saw it, and it might have been Utility Pale.
I don't quite remember.
No. Yeah, maybe it wasn't, but we did see this.
The Explosion, that's right.
Decisively. So we'll see if it's a little bit closer this time around.
Yeah, for sure. So we've got, all right, here we go. Utility Pale, of course, is back on the Explosher here. We are going to go ahead and see the zone kind of flip. Actually, no cap yet. To go down on the side of, overtime. And Utility Pale is going to go ahead and capitalize. They are going to get the first cap, but I don't know if it's going to be that surefire. Specials are coming out. The Wave Breaker, the Crab. There is the zone, not quite flipped, but the zone hold. But to go down again on the side of overtime, and Utility Pale have been managing to hold on.
Yes, you see that they're making their way forward. That number is still just ticking down. Scooty here, bottom right, getting chipped out, I think, by that Heavy. An interesting choice that I guess this is the second time we're seeing it in play. But finally, I think with 2 of those members going down on Utility Pale, 2 fighters particularly, this may be their chance to get the zone, but the zone is just so big and difficult to cap that it does take them a bit of a second before they finally get it. The Crab is gonna come out as well from Utility Pale, and I just feel like everyone, I don't know, everything feels really tentative, Yoshi. Like, people are just kind of trying to throw something on the other side of the zone, get that paint down, but no one's really fighting, it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been like small skirmishes here and there, and I mean, the zone keeps ticking down for Utility Pale. There's not a lot that you can do if you are overtime without getting like a surefire number of picks, and I think that's what they've been trying to do. But with all the burst options, like the Explosher and the Slosher as well, for Utility Pale, I think it's kind of hard for them to just get in general. Especially, there's not too bad of a lack of paint. They have Dynamo Heavy Spotling, but the Luna needs a lot of paint to work to get in. And right now, ooh, nice pick from Stamp there. But right now, it's just not enough. I mean, the Luna needs to find this pick. The strikes might flip the zone back. No, it looks like overtime is going to go ahead and recap. There we go. Recap the zone for the penalty to be applied to Utility Pale.
Listen, this is Eel Tail. As you know, there is no guarantee, even with everybody dead on the other team, that they will be able to recap this nightmare of a zone. But they sure do try with that Booyah Bomb and this Crab that's out, just forcing everyone to either like move back or get out of position. There is I think that Heavy was caught a little flat-footed in that bottom right, rather than being on the bridge where you would expect them to be, and I think they get punished for it ultimately. So Nico, oh no, gonna have a Crab of their own, immediately get a splat and force that person who thought that they could jump them to back all the way up. And that is going to be 3 members down, despite the fact that the strikes have gone out and Arbery's boyfriend has gotten a pick. They're not able to get the zone, and with 15 ticks left, rather, this is going to be dire. I think that the zone is a bit too big for you to really try and contest, and that is going to be it. If this were a smaller, more reasonable zone, Yoshi, I think they might have been able to neutralize it.
Yeah, I mean, coming back though from like they have 4 points left. I think overtime, very, very strong mental from them. It's like, hey, we're not out of this. We just need one good hold, turn it into a lockout, and that's exactly what they did. So overtime is going to go to match point for the last set of the day. Let's go ahead and take a look at an instant replay. That was a huge, huge camera kill from the Luma. This is what I'm talking about. They're at 4 points. There's only one alive, and it took them quite a while, actually, to cap this zone. I think they would have had a little less stressful of a time if they capped a little bit earlier. You see, I believe this is Land Evo here, trying to get work done on the Slosher, but they can't do it. Overtime, really, really good hold, really good mental to, like, keep it up, and hopefully they carry that into Game 2. If I'm Utility Pill, Sasu, what do you think I'm trying to, like, figure out and call right now? Not just a counter pick, but, like, what would you want to do if you were Utility Pill here?
I think I'm probably going to want more people to focus on that blaster. We saw how they were able to really get a lot of stuff done by themselves. I would think it'd be hard for them because in every way they should be outpainted, and yet the blaster is still getting like use. They're still very active there. So now that we're moving over to Mako Mart, I don't know that life's going to get any easier for them blaster-wise.
Yeah, I mean, this is very... I don't know how to word this. I mean, Overtime right now has a kind of gamble to play. Do they play into the blaster hoping that they aren't playing a hard counter, play the Luna, and just wreak havoc? Or do they back off of the Luna, trying to read a hard counter, and then try to, you know, win it by brute force rather than just relying on the Luna to find the picks?
Well, I think that AoE is so good here that you feel like, well, it worked the last time, we can stick, and then we still have that space in the final game to adjust if we find that we need it. And I think Overtime was also running a Dynamo, no?
I believe they were. Yes, they are running a Dynamo.
So this is, you've got to be jumping for joy that you got counterpicked on a place like Mako Mart, because I mean, I always say AoE is king here. And he who controls the stacks controls the game. And it can be very difficult to control a stack when you have these AoE monsters just ready to chip you out. You know, it's very, you know, turn on your location, we won't jump you. It's like drop from the stack. No one's gonna jump you. They will. They're ready for it for you, and they're ready to ledge you. And we'll see if it works out for them. Clearly, they counterpicked it for a reason.
Yeah, we are gonna see again the Explosher Slosher combo from Utility Pal that we've come to know. I don't know about Love, but we've come to know it for sure. But as you say, that 2 go down instantly on the side of Overtime. So Utility Pal has come to love it for sure.
Yeah, clearly, and it was the 2 weapons in particular that I was worried about. I said, whoa, they have a Dynamo, they have a Luna Blaster, that's going to be tough to contend. And yet, immediately right off the top, and we have the Luna Blaster down again. So it seems as though they're like, listen, they think they're going to have the advantage, but we know exactly how to play this place, and that's why we're counter-picking it. Well, I'll admit it, I didn't know that they knew ball, but Utility Pal is really bringing it right off the top of this game.
Yeah, the Dynamo is going to go down to just so much chip damage being put towards them. The Ultra Step is going to be used just for an instant pick with this Stamper on the left side as well as one on the left stack. Wait, the Luna gets 2 though. Are they going to find the Stamper? The Stamper is jumped out effectively, clearing the zone here. All they have left is Land Evo with this Tri-Strikes trying to hold the zone, but no penalty has been applied. But what a pick from the Slosher to, you know, try to neutralize the bleeding.
Yes, they've done a really good job with their presence on that left stack. They go down into a trade ultimately, but it is the Dynamo that they trade with. So I think that's going to be super useful not to have that guy just sloshing on either of the stacks. But I think ultimately, caught maybe not paying the most attention, the Luna Blaster does get a pick before going down themselves. And right now, I think we are not neutral in terms of the zone, though it is now neutral, but it just seems like everyone's running around trying to figure out where it is that they should be. But with Utility Pail all the way down at 28, I think they're the ones who benefit from that game play.
Yeah, for sure. And the Slosher getting a nice early pick there. Might be able to get a second as well. Nico is down. The Dynamo is also down despite being a trade. So Utility Pail is in a great position as of right now. They're able to try and control the drop of overtime. The stacks are controlled. Like you said, the stacks are king when it comes to this map. The bomb is going to find one as well on that top area. The stack is going to get challenged by the Luna. Hero play maybe for one. The stamp is canceled though. Another hero play, the crab goes down. Oh, they're staggering. Overtime is staggering, and they're staggering bad. There's one alive left on overtime. The timer is going down. It's at the late wipe again. Oh, if I'm overtime, I don't know what to do here because you're in a really sticky situation.
Yeah, you're not looking, unfortunately, like you're going to get overtime because you see that is an unfortunate drop from the Luna. I know that they're probably just diving zone, but Stagger is right. I think we even saw that Heavy was the last person alive, and instead of backing up from that ledge, they just get ledged out and go down as well. So I think I could be wrong. I feel like we saw this counter picked and we kind of like looked at each other like, are you sure? You're up against
they were sure.
Luna Blaster, and they were sure. They were sure to put me in my place. Like I said, I'm like, wait, I didn't know you knew ball. Because the way in which they scattered their defenses and very decisively took that game was a marvel to watch.
For sure. And Sasu, we have a game 3 to end the day. No way. I'm delighted, overjoyed even. We get to see just a little bit more Splatoon before we end off. The counter pick here is I'm very curious what they're going to counter pick because their comp is kind of unconventional. I mean, the Dynamo is kind of now a stand-and pick in the meta, but I don't know what maps really support it that much. They haven't played Humpback on this set, correct? That was last set.
Yes, that is.
So correct. I could potentially see like a Zones Humpback pick from overtime. I wouldn't hate that, especially with the Heavy spotling as well. I think they might want to swap.
They can't pick Zones.
Oh, that's right, because they already won on DSR. Ooh.
This is the first time that's come into the conversation.
They picked Zones. Wait, is DSR not active?
Let me double check that. I have the rules in front of me. You cannot counter pick a mode you have already won in the current set. They can't pick Zones because they won Zones already. So that is incorrect. They're gonna have to exit out of that and pick something else, honey. Because that is against the rules from what I know. And I do have them in front of me. Just in case, because I think counter pick can be a little bit confusing. The rules for those, in before Rainmaker is the guest from Jarian on the production side. You cannot counterpick a map you have already won in the current set. You cannot pick a mode you have already won in the current set.
Interesting.
So womp, hecking womp.
Feels bad, man. I don't know. And they're still taking 6 years to ready up, despite them having to close the game.
Yeah.
Man.
Rainmaker, we have not seen Rainmaker.
We haven't seen Rainmaker on stream, so this might be the first and only Rainmaker game, yeah.
Listen, I don't think they're gonna pick it, but fingers crossed. Everything else got picked. Everyone is so Zones pilled. You know what? I think I'm gonna have to boo these Zones picks. Like, it's been like double Zones 2-0, essentially.
We play Turf then.
Is Turf an option for speed? Well, no, because people.
I don't think so. People would riot.
Yeah. Well, I don't. Maybe because I'm like they had to play it in
The West hates Turf War. This is a very known fact. We do not like Turf.
Because I would argue you should be playing Turf because it's shorter and this is Speed Ladder. So if you're doing it by
because it's guaranteed 3 minutes versus like something like
literally
5 minute plus overtime. That's actually not a bad shout.
Like you know, just consider it. You're just like, it'll be 3 minutes, except for 5, because if you go into OT, you're burning all this time, and you're gonna say there's no way we can go over 3 minutes. We have a question mark right there. We're waiting for them to pick. I mean, it's haggle, but I mean, maybe they'll
Oh, they're
maybe
forced
they'll
on the
pick something
haggle?
else. I don't think so. I think the whole thing is kind of like they can always just pick something else. And they are going to be picking Clam Blitz, Umami, Womp Womp, no Rainmaker for the entire 3 hours of streaming.
Sigh.
Like, lock in, grow up. Rainmaker's not.
I think the West
bad.
hates Rainmaker more than they hate Turf War, TBH. Dear lord.
Yeah. You know, I think you might be right about that, but I'm not too mad at a Rainmaker depending on where it's being held, but we're not going to have to worry about that. We instead are going to have to worry about the way more standard, far more common Clams Umami. Now, it's Overtime that picked this. That makes a lot of sense because they have a Dynamo. I was going to say, God help whoever's on that dome. Because the Dynamo will very much so be a problem for that. But we have a switch into another one of my mains, Yoshi. The heavy edit, which we have not seen till now all tourney.
Well, hello there, Headit. It's nice to see you again. And let's get started with our match. Overtime versus Utility Pail. One more game to decide it all for the day. And for right now, it looks like the neutral is very, very pain heavy. Blue Bear's gonna go for a swing, is gonna get instantly traded out. Overtime is down 1 on the man advantage. It looks like the Ice Plastic's gonna try and change that. Puff does unfortunately live, though, on 3rd health. The Crab is gonna come out. The Booyah's gonna come out. This looks like a push to me, Sasu. Attack Cooler is grabbed by Blueberry. It's not done with, though. I mean, Attack Cooler, they got a pick, I think. But right now, it seems to be in control favor of Utility Pail. But as I say that, Overtime is going to push that Crab, push basically all of Utility Pail back into their flat. With a Booyah as well, this actually might just be a... Oh, no, they don't... Oh, they do have the Planet on me, I lied. This might be an Overtime counter push.
Yes, they've got a lot of stuff online for them. That Splashdown is going to claim one of the other members, as well as that bubble, forcing them straight out. And we've seen both of these teams. I think that's a curling bomb kill. A rare curling bomb kill that we're going to see here out of Starbeam. But both of these teams have gotten really close to finally scoring on the basket, and then they just sort of fumble it on their push. It can be difficult to get through that choke point that goes into basket. So not super surprising, but still Utility Pail with the steady hold on the Clam economy. And I think with these strikes, they are not in the strikes. I would expect that they would push, they would throw those and then push with them, but not going to happen. Instead, they're going to get down that Crab. And I think now with this man advantage, 2 people down, but not before the edit just mows down the person on the far right. This is feeling like a stalemate.
Yeah, I'm just surprised we saw a curling bomb. How did we see a curling bomb kill before we saw Rainmaker the mode?
Oh my god.
That's whatever.
Good point.
But back to the current present. You see Utility Pail. It looks like they're trying to mount a push. And I mean, the Tri-Strikes are gonna go ahead and be online here for Lan Evo. And there's the wipeout. There's the wipeout. Here we go. We're actually finally gonna see score happen. No way.
Yes, and it is coming out of Utility Pail. Now remember, this is, I think, Overtime's counter pick. So very huge, not just that they're doing so well, but that they were able to get it down to 31 in one push. We did see that they had a stranglehold on that Clam economy, and it paid them back in dividends. Now, Overtime is tasked with getting out of their spawn, essentially. They are just barely trying to get out of there. They make it into mid for the most part. I think Blue Bear gonna go down before that bubble comes out ultimately, and they just haven't been doing, I was going to say, the strongest job of making it to the basket, but I think with their picks effectively, especially with this Booyah, they're looking good for possibly scoring, but they only have 1 power clam, and what is that? 3 regular clams, so even if they do score, not looking good for a lead.
Yeah, the climb economy is just not in the favor of overtime. You can see that technically on the screen, on the UI. Oh, never mind. Everybody's dead. I was gonna say that they're equal, but like the positionally, Utility Pal was better. Unfortunately, Utility Pal goes 2 down, and this looks like it's going to be 2 clam balls. Looks like 1 mini clam, 2 mini clam, 3 mini clam. Can I get a 4th? Can I get a 4th? 4th mini clam anywhere? No, they're all dead.
No, sold.
Yeah, quite literally sold.
Yes, and I think in the meantime, Utility Pail has just completely painted over mid like a wave of pink ink. That Booyah comes out, just painting over that choke area. But I think 3 of their members go down with the Booyah. Ultimately, they don't have anything in which to open that basket with, so they've made it up. They've showed up to the dance with no partner to dance with. They're this swaying. They're saying, hey, give me the clams, please. I have to open up this basket. That is going to be a shredded bubble, and they score once again on there, but 2 of their members are down.
Is it going to be enough, though? No.
I don't think so. That jump in is camped, and we have just 15 seconds left. So I don't know if they have a pity clam with which to trigger this OT. Are you seeing anything?
I mean, the Doolies has 7. There's the power clam.
Okay.
They're gonna go ahead and pass it on to the head to keep it safe, but the ever-growing timer is now ever waning, because overtime is in session. Half is gone. Tri-strikes to stall. Bluebear's gonna find 1, but oh no, it's not gonna get picked out actually. It's gonna have to be now. The ball needs to go. The crab is down. The ball, you gotta go, Bean. You gotta go.
Run.
Twin, it's over. It's over. The game's done. Utility Pail 2-1.
Yeah, maybe like a curling bomb and just a book it. I understand trying to bide your time, but like, you barely triggered OT to start with. It was mostly over, and I get trying to play safe, but that is just so unfortunate. In all fairness, they may have gone down anyway. There was a lot of activity going on under that basket from Utility Pail. But that, oh golly, not a great way to end that there, but definitely great for us because we got to see that game 3 go to an overtime. And really, speaking of overtime, they could have almost had it in the end there.
I mean, they just had to go. That's the only case scenario. They just didn't pay attention to time. This isn't Splatoon 2 where your timer is like ungodly long if you have a power clam. Nah, that's Splatoon 3 timer, especially with both teams having a ball. It moves down so fast. We see here that on the instant replay, this singular push trumped overtime's what, 3, almost 4 pushes?
Yeah.
And that's just how the cookie crumbles, or the clam crumbles even sometimes, I guess.
I thought this would be it, Yoshi. When they had that bubble there, I'm like, people can jump in. I thought that would be a nasty push that would get them lead, but unfortunately, too many of their members went down at the end there, and I think this is when you just have the decaf. They just sort of rush in. Everything gets cleaned up, so that shuts down the push, and I wasn't sure if they'd be able to even trigger overtime here like their namesake. And I think Aubrey's BF, I actually thought sent those out a little bit early. I was thinking that is the game gone for them because they should have held on to those tri-strikes and then they themselves went down. But, you know, I think they were hoping to manually paint for themselves and then swim in, but
it just never happened. I mean, if you take a look at it actually on the Clam Economy, I don't know if you saw the replay, they only had the ball, so the ball wouldn't have been enough to win.
No. And even then, when they got the ball at the last second, I was like, I don't know if they have enough to win. So either way, they're going to have to pull something off very crazy here. And they just weren't able to hack it. That is going to be a buzzer beater. 350 Q win for Utility Pail over overtime.
Alright, well that is going to be all of the Inkademy speed ladder action we have for you today here at Dapple Productions. Sasu, before we end stream, where can our beautiful viewers find you?
You can find me at Sasu in Your Pants on basically any social media. That's SASU. IN, the letters UR, pants. I'm on Blue Sky, Instagram, Twitter, Discord, whatever. Hit me up. And I think, like, Yoshi, you've got so much stuff going on and all this knowledge. If the people want to follow you, where should they go?
Well, I'm not too intertwined with the Splatoon scene anymore, but when I am, you can follow me at YoshiChris08 on basically any platform except for Blue Sky, as well as YC08 on Uprooted. We are going to go ahead and end the stream right now, though. So thank you all so much for tuning in to the Inkademy Speed Ladder, and we are going to go ahead and say our adieus. Au revoir.
Yes. Goodbye, but not without saying bye. Thank you to Joe Ryan as well on the back end, who is doing all of that heavy lifting and that work and that streaming for us. Thank you as well to Joe Ryan. And this has been Dapple Productions. Be sure to watch Girls Duo Cup tomorrow at 1 p.m. EST. I think that's 7 p.m. CEST as well. So thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.